Yo, what is going down, y'all? Welcome in the most underrated podcast you already know.
Hell yeah!
Broadcasting from each of our homes. Continuing man, hold on me, Dow Palantonio chilling across me. What up, Dow?
Yo, what up, man? Wait, that entrance threw me off, man. Broadcasting from our own homes.
You know what, dude? I was going through a bunch of like old clips to get our Barstool sports audition reel tape, or whatever you want to call it, audition reel together. Sure. And number one, I just want to say, man, if you're bored, you can go back and listen to any of the episodes, especially since we like moved into the other studio, or we, outside of Certified, the other two studios, dude, we had so many fire ass segments. Like, just going through that stuff, that shit still holds up, bro. Like some of those segments, some of those rants, it sucks that everything's just here today, gone tomorrow, like chewed up and spit out and consumed that way. Cause dude, there's some great content in there. And if we don't get a look by Barstool, I'm going to be annoyed. I don't know how you can tell if you get a look. Anyway, we'll get into all that shit. But yeah, dude. So it's funny. I was watching like those old videos and that old intro, broadcasting from most underrated studios, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it was fire, bro. It was super fire.
Right. Hell yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Anybody missed the beginning? He said. Oh, is it messing up? It might be messing up. I'm sorry. All I was saying was a bunch of nonsense. It doesn't matter. If the beginning didn't come through, trust me, it doesn't matter. While we're waiting for everyone to come in here and make sure it's connected and shit, dude, I sprayed. You might have to carry this show. The chat might have to carry this show because I did too many squirts of that energy Mio into my water. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a little extra energy. I ate a sandwich. I was kind of feeling a little tired. I've been working on that Barstool audition demo, so I was working on that all day yesterday and today, and I was a little bit tired. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a little extra energy. I think I sprayed too many squirts of that shit in my drink, because now I'm just like, I'm shaking. I feel my heart's about to pop out of my chest. I'm all, you know how when if you have too much caffeine.
Yeah.
You ever done that as a kid, or had too many, did 2 5-hour energies or whatever?
Oh yeah, I did it this morning. I do it every morning. Yeah, I got to jumpstart the Hart somehow. No Motley Crue, you know what I mean?
It's kickstart the Hart, but I'll give it to you.
I know, I was close. Shit.
Yeah. So you may have to. I might just pass out over here. I may end up running to the bathroom, shitting myself. I don't know how it's gonna go.
I would allow it as long as you could do it as fast as I did in the studio. If you can do that, I'm cool with it.
What's been going on, bro?
I don't know. I got some weird vibes over here today, man. I got the man cave door open, which is weird. It's usually shut. So, but I've got the 2 dogs. Like, I'm responsible for the 2 dogs. So I've got the little pup over here in front and the big one next to me. So they're never in here. But Robin, so she at 5 o'clock today, so she knew I had the cast. So I guess she wants the best for the cast. Not. She booked an appointment. She might be taking over, not owning, but taking over kind of the rights of her best friend's horse. So her best friend is in the medical field, and she's doing one of those stints in another city, where I forget what they call it all of a sudden. But they have to go work. Residency. There you go. Yeah. So she had a residency over in Portland, Maine. And I think she's going to stay there for a little while. So then they kind of get options as to where they're going to go next. But long story short, she still has a horse back here in and around Denver surroundings, right? And she's had some other people take care of it. Robin here lately has been wanting a horse. She sold her horse a few years back, Wes, to a great gal who's taken absolute great care of her ex-horse. So she's kind of got that horse knack again and wanting to kind of take part in that, especially through quarantine, right? Like, going and riding a horse by yourself, it's pretty safe right now. And I think, some of that just kind of mixing up the day and not being so Groundhog Day-ish. So she's involved with that. So she's checking out a horse and a possible place where they're going to move the horse, which is a little closer to us, if that makes sense. So I've got the pups. Cool. It's a little different vibe, but it's cool, man. I'm hanging in there.
Nice, dude. Yeah, she's always been into horses. John King, did he say horse?
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, she's a horse rider. I think she used to do dressage. I think, is the technique or the type of riding that she used to do. She did jumping for a little while, but I think as obviously Robin got a little older, jumping horses is pretty fucking dangerous. So I think she pretty much just does dressage now, which is, I don't really know. You'd have to look it up, but that's what she does.
An X-horse sounds like some rich people stuff.
Oh, it is.
Y'all don't want it if that ass don't sit like a horse. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Shout out to everybody coming through in the chat. Marco is watching some old TTF vlogs from like 3 years back when he was revolved around Boost and T-Mobile. They were just popping up on my timeline. Yeah, dude, those are that content. I don't know. I haven't watched that content in a while. That might not hold up. It might be good. It might not be that good. I don't know. Peter Lee, what up, Peter? Go ahead.
Your vlogs, like when you did your drone shots. I thought your drone entrances and outros were pretty sick. Yeah, man, you had some good drone stuff, I think, going on.
Yeah, thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah, the B-roll is fire. Peter, dude, we were talking stocks. We've been talking stocks on the show here and there, just kind of throwing shit out there. So if you have any advice for people in the chat, want to throw them in there, feel free. Always, anybody welcome in the chat, man. You want to come through, chop it up with the crew. You got something to add to the show. You got a question for the show. We always love that kind of stuff, especially in this time where, you know what I really realized? Our show has changed so much. I didn't feel like it has because, with the quarantine and us being at home and shit. But man, without sports and stuff, the show has changed. There has been a little bit of a shift in the content, and not to say that it's bad, but man, we sure do miss the sports. I think it's I guess we just miss events in general, going and putting that demo reel together, just talking about award shows like the MMA or the MMAs, the AMAs and the Grammys and different things like that. We just miss events, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
That was such a big part of our show. Just like the sounds, being able to have sound clips from people and stuff like that. So super chat, Peter Lee. Thank you, bro. He hits us with $1.99 in the super chat. Hell yeah!
Dang, giving us stock info and insight and donating money to the cast. I love it.
Yeah. There you go. He says ACB and Alpha are the stocks to buy. As I mentioned on Monday's cast, today's news came out. There seems to be reports of cannabis helping with coronavirus. So ACB and APHA, not Alpha. My bad. I can't read. APHA and ACB are the ticker. What are those called? I'm blanking right now. Little ticker sign, the stock symbol, ticker symbol.
There you go.
So go search those and see what's going on if you're trying to buy in. Bro, I just set my lady up with a Fidelity account this morning, bro. She's on the she's getting in on the investing tip. She's kind of getting it going. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that.
Tell her not to check her portfolio daily. Every 3 or 4 days, check it, because it can be such up and down swings for a newly kind of getting into the game, investing. Oh my God, it can be super freaky, man. Day to day when you're checking it, like, multiple times throughout the day, multiple times throughout the week. Tell her just to relax and ride it out. Everything's going to be all right.
That's me, bro. I'm not Mr. I talk stocks. I know a little bit, but I'm not Mr. stock market by any means. So that's me. I'm in there every day. Like, what is going on? Yeah. She sees me on the daily overreacting and shit. And the next day I'm like, babe, we're doing so good. I'm like picking her up, swinging her around the kitchen.
You might as well just start day trading then. Day trading takes so much work and effort, and it's so tedious, monotonous, and like you have to be super focused all day, every day. But shit, man, you're almost there. It sounds like you should just start day trading.
Right. I should. Thomas Yee in the chat. Thank you, bro. Hell yeah! He hits us with $4.99 and he says VTIQ equals the new Tesla. And if you remember, Yee was in the chat last show saying how he bought Tesla for $190 a share, and now this shit's over $800 a share. It's just
crazy.
Wicked neighborhood. Now you a pro, TTF. I'm not a pro, dude. I really am not. I don't even know, dude. Some of the most basic stuff I don't really know. I'm just trying to make money, bro. If there's a way to make money, I just want to find a little bit out about it. See how I can get my shit in. John King said, get a Vanguard account. And my girl just asked, I was about to ask the same thing. We're on the same page, babe. What's the difference between Fidelity and Vanguard and all these? I don't understand. That's some shit I don't know. I don't know about any of that. Do you, Dal?
Not really. No, I think obviously you probably have different trading fees, things of that nature. Commissions are probably a little bit different here and there. But now I don't know. I mean, just different portfolios, probably just a different look, different support. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm a Fidelity guy. I used Scott Trade for a little bit, but switched everything over to Fidelity with T-Mobile, that kind of thing. They were very, very close, but Fidelity, I don't know. Their customer support, man, has always been legit, and I feel like they're very transparent and like help you like make good decisions. Like with the 401k stuff, I use them a lot just to kind of bounce some things off with some of their support. I thought they were fantastic. So from a support standpoint, Scott Trade versus Fidelity all day. The other ones, not for sure.
Okay. What is it? Is it? Oh man, I don't want to butcher your shit, but is it Saigesh? Do you think any of these airline stocks or any of these airlines will go bankrupt and the stocks will be worthless? I don't think so, man. I think travel's going to bounce back. I mean, I don't think people are going to stop flying. Maybe some of your really small ones, but I don't think your Uniteds and your Southwest and your Deltas and your American. I don't even think Spirit. I think that's going to be there.
Right.
We were talking about Southwest last show, and it's kind of jumped quite a bit. I don't know that it's still worth jumping in at this time, but based off of where it was, I think it's trading almost $30 a share now. And before everything crashed crazy, it was at $56 a share. So, and that was at kind of the height there. So it could still rise back up to that, but I think it may take some time. But if you can get us, some of these, like you look at American Airlines, they're like $10 and change or $11 to buy. So there's a lot more room for growth there. Dude, Penn National, I can't stress that one enough. We talked about Barstool Sports. We're going to talk about Barstool Sports in a second. Dude, that's one I would definitely jump on. I've been in on Penn National for a minute. Did you ever cash all your shit out? Or are you still in on Penn National?
I still have a little bit of Penn National. I think I have 15 shares.
Gosh, dude, it went all the way down like mid-March when all this shit went crazy. It was down to like $3 a share, like super in the toilet.
I thought they were going to be out.
And now, dude, climbing back up to almost 30 a share.
That's crazy.
I know. Think about the money you could have just made then. There's so many companies. If you would have bought mid-March when this shit went crazy, you could just be caking up right now. My man Thomas Yee was telling me the other day, he's like, dude, I've been just tripling my money, just crushing.
That's crazy.
And we talked about that the last show. Warren Buffett said, when everyone else is fearful, you need to be greedy. And I was a little bit of both. I was a little bit fearful. I wasn't quite greedy enough. And now I'm looking back to March like, no, why wasn't I more greedy? Did you say Penn Island? No, Penn National, bro. Penn National Gaming. I think they just sold 30%, or they bought 30% of Barstool, or vice versa, or I don't know. They're affiliated with Barstool somehow. Barstool Sports. Let's see what else we got in here. Dude, I saw that Peter Lee Warren Buffett made the wrong decision on all his airline stocks. I know, dude. It's funny. He has that like famous quote, and then he was a little bit bullish and sold all his airline stocks at a bad time. A lot of people are saying. King Trizzy, how much you think you spent total in shoes? Oh, geez, bro. I don't even know. Like, are we talking lifetime? Or are we talking just what's sitting here? I have no idea, dude. Me and my lady were talking about that the other day. It's like, there's so many shoes here, and I have a good amount of shoes. I'm not to the point where you are in your collection yet, Dal, where you've sold off so much that pretty much what you have are things you all want, and it's very hard to part with a lot of the shit you have. I still have a lot of the stuff I'm okay parting with. Not a lot, but I still have a decent amount of shit I'm okay parting with. So when I try to buy a new shoe, I just try to slang a shoe. I'm not trying to continue to have money coming out of the account, especially in a time like now. So if I can cop something, if I'm gonna pay resale for something, I'll sell a pair or two that I got chilling here, and then pay for that other shoe.
You sound so grown up over there. I'm so proud of you. That's the ticket, my man. That's the ticket, my man.
It's not grown up. It's called bankrupt. It's called no money, not enough money to buy all the shoes you want. So you got to sell out some inventory. TTF bought $15,000 worth of shoes since 4/18. You did, or are you saying I did? I did not. I have not at all.
Wow, since 4/18.
Everyone's giving out some good advice there in the chat, man. Good stock advice. A lot of good stock talk going on there. Let's jump into the show, Dow. And we'll just start off with the the Barstool Sports, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and fill people in if they're unfamiliar, because you were actually putting me up on game with all this stuff. I didn't really know what was going on with the owner of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, and one of the shows that they have on their network. I guess they're kind of having some beef, and it's playing out online.
Yeah. So what's happening is you have a podcast that is kind of under the umbrella of Barstool Sports. It was originally not. Barstool's picked it up. They did a pretty intense contract where, both parties were paid pretty well. I don't want to get too much into the financials, but essentially there's two individuals that run the Call Her Daddy podcast. Alexandra Cooper, which is 26, and Sophia Franklin. These two basically discuss their lives and their sexual experiences living in New York City. Essentially what they call like an uncensored female kind of locker room talk. That's kind of what their podcast is about. So is it specifically tailored to women? Sure. But can guys like go listen to two hot chicks talk about their sexual escapades and lives living in New York? Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting on both sides. So with that, they're obviously in a contract with Barstool. Barstool is very cool. Barstool has a lot of different podcasts, a lot of different radio stations, like channels, things of that nature, anything from sports to wrestling to, pop culture, you name it. Barstool has a lot under their umbrella, and this is just one of those. What happened was most of these either talk shows, podcasts, radio shows are all in some sort of contract. And Alexandra and Sophia with the Call Her Daddy podcast, they were both under contract. I can't remember the amount of years on this, but long story short, with the financials, they were both making damn near about $75,000 to $80,000 a piece per year. I think there was some bonus, some incentives in there. I don't want to get too deep in that, but paid pretty well. Now you look at $80,000 in New York City. I don't know if that's pretty well. Maybe that's part of the issue. They have over 1 million followers on the Call Her Daddy Instagram. I think what's happened here is you have ego getting involved on both parts, right? So Call Her Daddy came to Barstool and said, look, we want more money. We deserve more money. We have this following, because they had nothing, dude. They really had nothing. And I think that's probably why
when they first started.
Yeah. And I think that's why they were so aggressive with signing with somebody like Barstool. Like, I'd love to be under Barstool, under that umbrella, and the amount of just eyes you have on you when you have zero. And
well, especially if you know you have good content, and you can use that to just as a launching pad for your show, and not only to get better guests, to get all that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's kind of what's going on. So their contract is not up, unfortunately. I think they have another year or so left on the contract. They were trying to renegotiate their contract that they're currently in, which, like I said, can't tell you about the incentives and all the bonuses because that's not really known out there, but the $80,000 a piece. They're trying to get more money out of it. They now have over 1 million followers on their podcast. They're uploading about once a week. And I think they're obviously doing some other stuff with Barstool, social media, things like that. So they came to Barstool and said, look, hey, let's renegotiate. Let's get some more money. Long story short, Barstool kind of said, look, we want you to finish up your contract, and then, then we'll make a deal. They were pretty nice about it. Dave Portnoy, who heads the whole situation, pretty nice about it. But all of a sudden, this unprofessional kind of disloyalty and greed started coming out of the Call Her Daddy podcast ladies. So much so that one of them, I think it was Sophia, her boyfriend actually is some sort of lawyer / works with litigation, and is also affiliated with HBO as a network. So once this greed and, this hardball kind of started playing, I think Sophia brought her boyfriend in, and they call him the Soup Man. And now all of a sudden, Dave Portnoy is addressing the Soup Man, and we'll see you in court. And Soup Man says, yeah, I'll see you in court, and I'm coming after you, and we're going to get the money and blah, blah, blah. With all that being said, Call Her Daddy podcast has went dark. They're not uploading. They're not doing anymore. Everything's at a standstill. And now it's just, wow. now it's just attacking each other on both sides. But, I'm sure it sounds like it's going to go to court. I'm sure they'll probably settle outside of court. But the funny thing was, before it got really ugly, Barstool actually came to the ladies and said, hey, you know what? We'll give you a little bit more money. We understand where you're coming from. And I think it was Alexandra, one of the two, was like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'm kind of in. But, because the two started the podcast, Alexandra had to kind of stand by her friend Sophia. And then this Soup Man, the boyfriend, kind of got involved and didn't let him come to an agreement thus far. So that's kind of where they're at. And, we'll see what happens as this plays out. But a lot of drama, a lot of social media bickering and back and forths. It's pretty entertaining if you're a little bored in quarantine. But yeah,
John King in the chat. So they're making $500K. He said the dude said on it, the one chick's Instagram account.
That could be. Now, again, their contract was started at about 80,000. So I don't know where it's evolved.
What it's been upped or what it.
Yeah, whatever. Like the bonuses and all the other stuff. Like that's where it started. When they signed on to Barstool, is about 80K a piece. Is what they were.
So homegirl's dating the one guy that works for HBO, the suit man. That's supposedly a lawyer, and he's trying to step in and get involved. Yeah. Where does that leave the other girl? Is she just like, yo, shut the fuck up? I'm trying to do my thing here, or like, is she on their side as well? Because that could drive there's a lot of wedges that could be driven here.
Yeah, initially when Barstool came back with like, hey, okay, let's talk money. Alexandra, it sounded like she was kind of she was into listening, but she got strong-armed by Sophia and her boyfriend. So they didn't give her a voice, it sounds like.
John King said the beef started between the two chicks.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy. I don't know. Listen, man. I don't know enough about their show. I don't know what they had or didn't have, but I'm saying if our show is what it is now, and they came to us and offered us $80K a year, and it's a 5-year deal or whatever it is, I'm going to take that deal, bro.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to make I'm also not living in New York, so it's very hard for me to say, but here in my current situation, if they're offering me $80K to do this show once a week, plus shoot some IG content or shoot some whatever other content, dude, I mean, I feel like like I said before, the content that we have, I know the content's good. I know what we're doing is good. I know the audience we already have is good. I know what we're going to be able to build. Everything we're going to be able to build on top of this show is going to be leverage for the next contract. You know what I mean? And that's, I don't know. I guess you can call it greed. I guess it's hard to say who's right or who's wrong in the situation without being in the situation. I just find it interesting. And the reason we're bringing this up on our show is because Dave Portnoy comes out, the creator of Barstool Sports, or the owner of Barstool Sports. He comes out yesterday on his IG and said, throws a couple shots at that show and basically says that we are not going to be doing we're not looking for the next Call Her Daddy podcast. We have a lot of people hitting us up saying we could do the same thing. We could do better than blah, blah, blah. He's like, we're not really looking for that show. We don't really care to replace that show. The show is what it is. We're just looking for good talent. We're just looking for good shows. If you have a good show, submit your show to this link. So, dude, yesterday I'm hammering out this demo reel for you and I, sick ass demo reel of just highlight clips of different rants, different segments, and we're submitting we've submitted this to Barstool Sports. So we'll see what happens, man. I think it's I think it'd be, oh man, I think that'd be a dream come true. Especially dude, I think it'd be on both sides. I think it would be a great relationship. Who do they have on there that's talking sports, entertainment, and sneakers? The sneakers are $1 billion industry with StockX and with GOAT and everything that's exploded in the resale market, Sneaker Supreme. I think there's a market to have a show with that. And imagine on that platform, the guests, the people that we could have onto the show, how we could up our content. I just think there's so much to be, had for both sides, dude. You and I really can bring a different dynamic that is right along with what they're doing. It's in that lane, but it still offers something different than what the other shows offer. And I've listened to the Barstool Sports channel on Sirius. I don't find it overly impressive as far as the shows or what they're doing. I don't find it any better than what we're doing. And maybe I'm biased because I'm sitting here hosting the show, but I'm listening to these cats and I hear them flowing in and out of topics, and I almost don't even feel like I don't even know what prep was done for the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I hear a lot of opinions. I listen to, I think it's KFC's radio with him and his, I don't know, the blonde haired kid. I forget his name all of a sudden, but yeah, I mean, it's very strong opinion based stuff. I mean, there's some facts here and there. It's not hard hitting facts. And there's a little bit of passion with it. And I think that's kind of what gets him through, but it's not groundbreaking. Like if I'm trying to get hard hitting stuff, I'm probably going to go, listen to Howard Stern and interview and get hard hitting facts, whoever he's interviewing, like Joe Rogan. He just came out with his podcast yesterday with Tony Hawk. That was super informative. Like Tony Hawk was dropping some gems on there and dropping some knowledge, like him doing some new tricks and kind of how he evolves his training, his fitness as he gets older. Did you know Tony Hawk owned a home at 17 years old? Like that's super sick. You know what I mean?
Off of skateboarding?
Yeah, dude, off of
That's
skateboarding.
crazy. And think about that. That was way before Tony Hawk Pro Skater, or he did the 900 at the X Games. It was way before all the shit that really blew him up to the Tony Hawk we know today. Totally. You probably, at 17, you probably had to really be in the skateboard game to know who Tony Hawk was.
For sure. But yeah,
and he's owning a crib off that shit.
Yeah.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Later. But yeah, with Barstool, like I said, I mean, I think there's some okay shows, but again, hard hitting sports, I'm probably going to go to Dan Patrick. I'm going to go to, who's your boy that you listen to all the time?
Rome.
Yeah. Jim Rome. Shit, man. That's what an organized, like over organized, radio show that he has.
Super polished, dude. But I mean, his staff has got to be crazy, the people that work on that show, his writers, the whole shit is just, cause it's polished. It's polished down to the T every day. It's very, very polished show. And that's not always what everyone's trying to put together. I don't think that would be our show. I think our show, part of our thing is what we do. The Kansasisms, the Dallas. that's part of the show, man. That's part of the good shit. But yeah, Joe Rogan going to Spotify is crazy, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, man, for sure. You want to get into that?
Yeah. Go ahead. That's what I thought you were going to flow into. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, we can do that.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan gets $100 million to go to Spotify, and this is obviously breaking every record known to man for any podcast. This guy's getting more money than 99% of the hosts that host talk shows in this country on radio stations. And I say 99% because he's still not there with Howard Stern, but who is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was kind of my next thing. Like, what did Howard Stern make? Like, what was one of his biggest contracts? So I looked back. He became one of the highest paid radio figures after signing a 5-year deal with Sirius, and back in 2004, worth $500 million.
No, that was a 10-year at that time. So the first contract he did was a 10-year. Then he signed a 5-year extension. So he signed in 2004 for 10, and then he signed again in 2015 for another 5 years.
Did he?
And he got 450 for the second deal.
God,
so it was between 450 and 500 for the first one, and then it was another 450 for half the time. And the dude only works 3 days a week over there, bro.
I know. Yeah, the first one that I'm seeing was damn near 500 mil.
Right.
That's so crazy.
So think about that. Sirius has almost paid Howard Stern $1 billion between those two contracts. And that 5-year is coming up again. I think that shit comes up next year. Wow. So he's got to make another decision, or they got to make another decision. I think they're just going to keep giving him the bag until his audience, I mean, outside of Joe Rogan, I don't know who has that kind of reach. Obviously, that's how Howard got there, is from his reach and his audience. That's why Sirius wanted him.
Right. Well, and you look at from 2012 to 15, he served as the judge on America's Got Talent as well. So, I mean, this guy's getting bags on bags on bags. And, but I got to tell you, I mean, probably over 70-80% of the memberships, on Sirius XM was probably for Howard. It's hard to argue that. Like, I think Howard really brought the audience, obviously, to Sirius. And I think his show specifically was probably at least over 50% as to why people actually have that membership. Howard Stern, he plays hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely the cornerstone of the
of
the company. And if he leaves, the company's going to take a massive hit there. I think you'll still have a lot of people that stay with Sirius, but I think that he is the cornerstone of the whole thing, dude.
Totally. Yeah. The interesting thing with Joe Rogan. So yes. So he actually announced his deal on Instagram, which was pretty funny, telling his 9.5 million followers that the podcast would move to Spotify on September 1st. And essentially anytime after that, it's all of his content that he's done on YouTube, that he has on YouTube, is all going to be moved over only to Spotify, which is crazy. So the contract is aggressive. It's crazy. I mean, he's getting the bag on this, no doubt about that. And the cool thing he also said was, with this agreement, the Joe Rogan experience, it's not going to change, is what he says specifically. Joe stated that on social media, and it would also not make him an employee of Spotify, which I think is really cool. So he's essentially his own kind of, his own boss still, which is really, really cool on a contract of that magnitude. So I think that's pretty tight.
Anatroff said in the chat, he's still going to be posting YouTube clips.
Yes.
That seems, so he'll still be allowed to post on YouTube.
It seems weird, but I don't know how that
seem weird.
I don't know how that's negotiated, but yeah.
Especially since, he said the only full videos will be on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
That's strange.
Exclusive. Yeah.
So
you got exclusive rights on Spotify, but you got clips and teasers on a whole nother platform that you originally left. I don't know. Weird.
I wonder if that has to do with like, there's going to be tons of people clipping our shit from Spotify and uploading it to YouTube anyway. We might as well just cash in on that revenue as well. And that's outside of the 100 million he's getting from Spotify. He can now monetize still have his monetized platform on YouTube and make that money as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have Spotify, but I don't know. I've never watched videos and shit on there. Is that something they're currently doing? Does Spotify currently have videos and shit going? Or?
I don't watch any videos on there. I only just stream my music and that whole collection.
When you stream your music, do you see a music video like pop up though, and it starts to kind of play? It's like is it a full music video?
No, I'm doing playlists. I'm selecting, bands. Like I was listening to Van Halen Balance album today, and you just have their art form in the back, and that's it. Their artwork.
Great point, Brian Jackson. Probably just trying to tease people on YouTube to move over. There's still an audience on YouTube, so having clips is easy advertisement on the huge platform. Yeah, that makes sense, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense. SB15, late to the party. What up, y'all? Working from home. Been keeping up with the podcast. Good to be live. Welcome in, bro. Glad you caught it live. It's always cool to see some new faces up in the chat. Sorry, Dal, what were you saying?
Yeah, I think it's good on both sides, right? YouTube is where he's always been. So if there was some money, some negotiations on YouTube's part or Spotify's part, it doesn't matter. It's still good, like especially as a transitional phase. Like all these people that are going there are still going to YouTube, and then they're going to follow that trail uniquely set by Rogan as time progresses. So I think it's good for both parties. I do. It makes sense.
And that's a show that I don't keep up with enough. I know Joe just does once in a long while when he has an interview on I really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want his show. I feel like some of our styles, some of our shit is a little maybe similar in a weird way. And I don't want to bite that shit. I don't want to have any of that shit creeping in to our show. So I try to only catch it when it's necessary for me. Even though I love Joe. I love what Joe does for UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I love what he does with his interviews. I think he's tremendous. So now my question to you, do you think this is like, I've seen a lot of people with mixed opinions on if this is big for the podcast world. Do you think this is big for the podcast world?
Yeah, I think this
changes the podcast world.
Oh, dude, I think it's incredible for the podcast world. I mean, this is arguably the best to have done it and to continue to do it. And I think this just opens up the world. Like Spotify, dude, here recently, within the last, I would think 2 years, Spotify has been on this beta platform for a podcast. So the evolution and then the all-in mentality, signing the best to do it. I think this is super inspiring to any podcaster to be like, this is kind of like the Tony Hawk, right, of skateboarding. Well, the Tony Hawk of podcasting, I should say. And it gives me, I think it should give you hope. Holy shit, podcasting I thought was just, out of your basement. You could do it in the man cave. You could just do it for fun. And all of a sudden you've got Joe Rogan, again, the best to do it. It's no comparison between like us and Joe Rogan, but man, it's inspiring to know that what we're doing, at least with
Dal,
podcasting, there's opportunities.
sorry,
What's
not
up?
to interrupt you. Your screen went black. Oh, there it goes. Your screen was black for a minute. I was about to ask you if your 9-volt died in your phone.
You know what? You know what it just hit? You know what it just hit me with? It hit me with low battery, like my phone,
your
low
phone.
battery.
Oh no! What are you gonna do,
I don't know what we're gonna do here. So let me come up with some stuff.
What if? Okay, time out. I think we're good on the Rogan shit for a second.
Yeah.
What have you been doing all day that your phone's not charged? You haven't been leaving the house unless you are now hitting another golf sesh. What's been going on? How is your equipment not prepared for the show? I'm confused.
Man, it's a wild one for sure. So today I was out running errands, trying to get sprinkler heads, trying to get this stuff finalized. The curbside didn't work out. Home Depot is still a hotspot coronavirus. And I ended up getting like 4 wrong heads yesterday. So trying to swap those out, not trying to make another trip. Also getting back into so obviously the BMX stuff that I've been doing, right? And Robin took a liking into that. So she has a mountain bike, and I have a mountain bike that I've had for years. And obviously both tire tubes were flat. So I was like, shit, you know what? I'd be willing to do something like mountain biking with Robin, hit a couple trails, and she's super into it. So I was out getting tubes and, air pumps and all that kind of stuff, trying to get a bike tuned on Robin's side. So dude, I've been so busy here the last few days. And then I get home and it's like, I've got like an hour and a half before the podcast.
Damn.
So, it's one of those things, man. I feel bad, but I'll figure out a situation here.
Here's what I think you should do. You're just going to have to unplug your mic, and you're going to have to plug in the charger, and we're just going to have to hear you on your phone mic, and you're going to have to close the door to your studio.
Right.
Remember, was that earlier today? You said the door was open?
It is open, yeah.
And you doing some new shit? Okay. I was just making sure I wasn't like tripping out. Like I told you, I sprayed too much Mio on my thing. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting a little bit, wild over here.
For sure. Prank. Well, dude, so let me tell you about that golfing extravaganza. That was really cool, dude. Muzz and I went golfing. What was it? Not yesterday, day before yesterday. So Tuesday. And dude, it was incredible, man. The weather was great. It was a little windy, but in terms of social distancing, I only posted one picture on the social, but man, it was beautiful. And Murphy Creek is crazy because it's like super, super southeast Aurora. So it's way, way, way out, dude, far from the city. Man, it was great to be out there, dude. And I had such a good time that Muzzy and I were bullshitting afterwards for like an hour, just talking. And I didn't have a mask and I was staying 6 feet. Like I felt free again, dude. And when I was driving home, driving past all these idiots with masks, and not that they're idiots because they're wearing masks. I think it's weird to wear a mask in your car.
In your car by yourself, right?
I think that's fucking weird, unless you're an Uber driver. Maybe that
I'm surprised
sense.
You think that's weird, Dal, with all your stance on the COVID and quarantining your own shoes and quarantining every gift you ever got. I'm surprised you have that stance. I thought it was weird, for sure. But okay, you're on board. You think the same?
It's a little weird. So, but as I'm passing everybody, and then I did stop by a convenience store to get a water because I was so parched. I didn't want to buy anything from the cart girl because of all the touching, and I didn't have my wipes and all that shit. So I went to a convenience store, and everybody has masks. I have my mask on, and then you have the stickers on the floor, the 6 feet social distancing rules, and I'm just like, oh. Fuck, this is reality. I forgot. It was so nice, dude, to be away from that for like 2.5 hours of golfing and just not thinking about that shit. And it almost made it harder. Like I almost wish I wouldn't have went, because getting back into reality and remembering that the world does kind of suck right now, and it's a real shitty time. That was hard for me, man. I was kind of a wreck on Wednesday. So I guess yesterday I just was like kind of somber and in a down mood. Didn't want to mess with anything because I had such a great time, and then the dynamic shifted going back to such a shitty time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. So the golfing was good, but the come down was bad.
The bush come down was bad for sure.
It was bad.
It was like It was like a golf hangover, and it was a real one.
Yeah.
Dude, what were you laughing at? Something in the chat?
Some funny shit in the chat, because I thought the same thing. Let me get to it in a second. Juro style, long time no live, fellas. What up, Juro? How you doing, bro?
Juro style.
Z Saturn. That's good shit. This is after this, you'll see Netflix, HBO, and TV companies going after podcast people 100%. Please, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Please.
No doubt.
Please come over here and get us already. Been doing the damn show. Been putting out fire content. Been consistent as a mug twice a week up in here.
Twice a week. Yeah. Most shows are once a week.
Right. And not only twice a week, 2 hours twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trust me, I go 5 days if you guys need. If they give me the bag and this like, hey, this is what you need to focus on, create an incredible fucking show. Damn it. And create a great show, then yeah, give me whatever. Or I'll do whatever. So after that, Z Saturn, I love that comment. Another comment, SB15, talking about Joe Rogan. Heard he's killing the podcast game, yet I listen to you guys on the regular. Am I missing out? I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure. I think I like that. I just like that. Whether that's true or not, I really like that comment. And then John King, for one, I've never had the wrong head. That's good. That's good shit. And then he also says, this was my question. He said, is he just going to let it die? LOL. And that's why I started laughing, because I was like, I don't know. I thought the same thing. I was like, hey, Dow, maybe you should unplug the thing. And he just goes into the golf story. So I was like, all right, maybe he's just going to let it die. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe
I can't get kicked off the cast.
There you go.
Yeah, I just fixed it. Yeah, I went on a tangent, went back to it, fixed it. We're good to go. How does the audio sound? Sound all right?
Yeah, it's fine, bro.
Sound all right?
It's fine. You sound like any of these fools doing a Zoom interview with Ariel Helwani or on TMZ or on any of these things. You sound great.
Gotcha. Well, we have the newest iPhone, so it won't take long to charge. We'll be back in biz here in a second.
It sounds really good. It's really not bad at all. Oh, John King said a little low. He said low, but fine. Talk louder. maybe it's okay for me because I got headphones in.
Gotcha.
But, story time really quick. Speaking of can't get kicked off the cast, dude. Yeah. Right before the show today, my aunt calls me. I talked to my aunt this morning.
Berta?
And I was telling, yes. And shout out to Aunt Berta. I think she was in the chat earlier, probably listening to the show. Yeah. And shout out to your sister too. Shout out to all the family up in here. What up, Kim? So, dude, you remember the days when we used to work retail? I know there's a lot of people in the chat and that listen to the show that used to work retail. They saw me. That's how they caught the vlogs. They saw me working at T-Mobile, vlogging, just trying to be a real cat, trying to get some real money out here. Well, I'm talking to her and I'm explaining to her, I don't know what it is inside me, bro. My DNA, my fiber, whatever the hell is inside me. When someone asks me to troubleshoot their phone or give them some tech support or help them do something, bro, I get so instantly angry. Like I get so mad. And I don't know if it's the 12 years I was in the business. I don't know what it is, but I get so mad. And I was trying to explain to her, I used to leave the store and just have my T-Mobile shirt on, and I'd go across the street to King Soopers to grab some shit for dinner, and people would be coming up to me like, oh, hey, I have T-Mobile, and start asking questions about their phone. I'd be going to meet up with a friend. I'd just have, they'd give us a promotional T-shirt or whatever to promote the new iPhone. With T-Mobile on the back or something. I'd walk across or I'd go meet with friends. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I get so pissed off when that happens to me. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over it, because it's still to this day. It's to this day. Do you have that same thing? Like PTSD?
Dude, of course.
Phone traumatic stress disorder?
I mean, and then like my dad, bless his heart, man, he got his first smartphone like a year ago. So like he's really new in the game, but he's pretty good about not asking me shit. But like, I wish that I could, like, through the phone, I wish I could grab it and just fucking throw it across the yard sometimes, because they have such a hard time with it. And, it's funny because what fixes 90% of phone issues? Powering it down and powering it back up. And And people just don't even think about that. Like, I know you really can't pull the battery. The old trick used to be pulling the battery, but now you can't pull the battery out of these unibody phones. So it's amazing what powering your phone on and off really will do. But at the same time, like, God, man, people are so pumped. And I know T-Mobile was a cool company. I wouldn't take anything away from that. I thought
that's exactly what I said to my aunt too. Like, nothing against it. They did so much for me. It was a great company, great time there.
They were cool. And you know, T-Mobile was a marketing standpoint. They were that approachable company that, you know, that John Ledger, that crazy cusser, you know, from the East Coast. I get it. But God damn, as I'm getting my eggs in you know, at King Supers, the last thing I want to know is like, hey, dude, I got the new iPhone, man. I got such a great deal from you guys. Right on. I'm like, bro.
I know they just don't even. They just want to come tell you. They're just pumped. Yeah. They're just pumped to have the.
Hey man, party on,
Wayne. Oh, dude, exactly. So, dude, so I tell her this morning, right? Long story long, I'm sorry. I tell her this morning on the phone, and we're just having this combo as I'm walking Benny through the park. Great morning. And this afternoon, she calls me like a little bit before the cast, like right before I get on with you. And she's like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're about to get on with the cast, but I just had to tell you this question, or I just had to tell you this. I go to get my phone and I go to click YouTube to make sure the link's in there and I'm going to be ready to watch the cast. And it's grayed out. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't get into it. And she's like, the first thing I thought about, she's like, I started laughing to myself because the first thing I thought about was what you said this morning. And you're like, she's like, I didn't want to call you and ask you like, what's going on? But it's you I'm trying to watch on the cast. And I felt like such an a-hole. I'm like, oh my God, please. You can call me anytime, any phone questions. I'll always come help you out. Like, no big deal. And I felt like such an a-hole. But then she did she, instead of saying I can't get kicked off the cast, she did your voice and she said, I can't miss the cast. And it was high quality.
Oh, Berta. Oh,
so shout out to my aunt, and shout out to everybody fighting the good fight in the phone game. Misha said it's tricky to soft reset an iPhone these days. That's true. Lying. It's not the same. It's not the same old shit. It's definitely not the easy battery pull that it used to be, like Dow was saying either. T-Mobile. Go ahead.
It's definitely not Control-Alt-Delete. Used to be the good old days.
Exactly. Look at T-Mobile. Oh yeah, you should see my DMs from all the people who spell T-Mobile wrong and ask me questions. LOL.
Oh, that's crazy, man. T-Mobile, why is that your name on your socials? What's the story behind that? Because yeah, man, I would stay away from that.
I think his name's Terry, so there's the T, but the mobile, I don't know. It's probably just like a nickname. It's like Tyrod Taylor. You know, remember with Tyrod Taylor, his nickname is T-Mobile. Tyrod, right. And then he was a running quarterback.
Super mobile, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, I assume. I don't know for sure. Maybe T-Mobile can clear that up for us in the chat. He said, John King said his name's Travis from Mobile, Alabama. He's T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
My aunt said it was a panic moment, but she's good to go. That's funny. All right, let's do this, dude. Some sad news. Gosh, dude, you hear about Shad Gaspard?
Yeah, I did. I didn't really know
if it's Gaspard or Gaspard, but
yeah, I didn't really know him from wrestling so much, but the story itself, it doesn't matter if he's a wrestler or not. The story itself is super sad.
Yeah, it's so if you guys didn't hear the story, he's a former WWE wrestler. That's where he kind of got his like big break there. And then he moved into Hollywood actually after he left WWE, started doing some acting, was in some shows, some movies, some things like that. Dude, they were swimming out at Venice Beach, a popular spot. It's not like they were way out in the middle of nowhere off of a boat, whatever. And they just got swallowed up. Him and a few other people, including his son, just got swallowed up by a crazy riptide, and they couldn't get out. And rescuers came, saved the people. He yelled, the last things he yelled, I guess, was "Save my son" first. And then they said a huge wave came and kind of swallowed him up, and he went under, and they didn't see him again. And I got the alert last week that he was missing and that they were searching for his body. And then a few days later, his body washed up on shore about like 1:30, 1:45 a.m. someone running on the beach found his body. And I remember Crime Time. I remember when Crime Time came out. It was big Shad and JTG. Shad was the muscle guy of the group. JTG was, I think, the smaller dude. And they had, their whole gimmick was grills and robbing people, and they were from Brooklyn, and that was kind of their whole gimmick. And Shad was actually really from Brooklyn. And I read up on him after this. He was a bouncer. He was he worked security for Puff Daddy and a bunch of other big artists. He fought MMA, like bare knuckle boxing and shit when he was younger. They said he was fighting grown men at age 16 because he was so big, dude. And Shad ended up being 6'7", close to 300 pounds. Oh, wow. So he was a big guy. And that's what I said on my story the other day, dude. The ocean scares the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. It just can swallow people up like that. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. And me and my girl, dude, I was yelling her ass off. She was out in Mexico getting out all far, and I was getting so pissed off. I was like, babe, what are you doing? Like, the ocean's a different beast, bro. And we have people like our man John King. I see him out there at the beach all the time with his family. Right. He's always out there having fun. But when the riptides get going, he said side to side is the way to go. If you can swim side to side rather than trying to swim out of it and use up all your energy, that's the mistake a lot of people make. But it's the ocean's just scary as hell. You ever had any problems in the ocean, Dal? You ever been in the ocean, got swallowed up, or had any scary moments?
No, not in the ocean necessarily. And that's probably because I'm a Kansas boy, so we didn't make it to the ocean a lot. Right, the only time I got to the ocean was, when I got outside of the home that I lived in, when I was kind of out on my own. I did a lot of traveling, starting into 22 years old, man. I started traveling inside the States, outside the States, whatever. But when I started at 22, by the time I was 25 or 26, I'd already been to like 30 states. Like, I had done way more than I had in my whole 17, 18 years of existence, back when I lived with my parents, in those few short years. So getting to the ocean a few times for sure, but never had any issues with water necessarily. And I've been to Mexico multiple times, and we did those shell hop, those water parks that they have in Mexico where you float. And most of that area is pretty shallow, but you never know what water can do and how it can react. I mean, we were jumping off cliffs. Sometimes you can fall in one of those like black holes and get sucked under because of how these, waves on the bottom side work and what's happening in the motion on the bottom side, but been pretty lucky. I had an issue with a pool one time. I almost drowned in a pool, but never an ocean yet.
No shit. You almost drowned in a pool?
Yeah. I jumped off the high dive as
young guy.
I'm still not the best swimmer, dude. I can get myself out of danger, but I'm gonna probably not actually swim. I'm gonna swim a little bit, and then I'm a doggy paddle. So I'm still a doggy paddler for sure. But it does the trick, and it gets me out of some tight spots. But of course, there was a bet. They're like, "You won't jump off the high dive," and I'm like, "Well, I don't really know how to swim, but." Somebody dares.
So you were basically Squints from The Sandlot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was waiting for what was her name, Wendy Peppercorn?
Yeah,
to come rescue me, but nobody did.
But she wasn't there, so you were just drowning. No big deal.
Nobody did. But yeah, I had so much water in my lungs, and that had to be obviously. So I did get a little bit of CPR action to get the water out of my lungs, but it was pretty scary, man. Pretty scary.
Me and my homie Diaz were in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, for New Year's. We went out there with his family, and we went for New Year's, and it was such a blast, dude. But we were out boogie boarding in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta. Dude, I had some scary shit. So the boogie board, it's like strapped to your wrist, so you don't lose it. Well, you get wrecked on the board, and then, it's strapped to your wrist, and there's a little rope and all this stuff. So we're boogie boarding, and the waves are starting to get kind of crazy, dude. Like, pretty, crazy. But me not knowing shit about the ocean, being a dumb young kid, I'm probably 19 at the time, 18 maybe, just being an idiot. I'm like, oh, let's go hit these big shits, I'm trying to ride them in, get all crazy. I got wrecked so bad. This shit backflipped me, bro. Like, slammed me. Like, I thought I was going to I probably had a concussion because I thought I was going to break my back. I got scorpioned, folded up, straight folded up like Rob Dyrdek ridiculousness style. Have you ever seen that? People get scorpion where you're basically your legs go over your head. Dude, that shit cracked my back like no other. And then like I was all like messed up. And as I'm messed up, my boogie board's just getting pulled. So, and it's around my wrist. So all of a sudden I'm just getting drug out, bro. And I swear I thought I was done. I was like, this is it. I'm going down. I'm going down. I'm being pulled out to sea by this huge wave. There's nothing I can do. And finally, dude, I was able to just unclip. I had the wherewithal to unclip the boogie board. That shit was gone. And I was able to get away and kind of regather myself and use all my energy and every existing amount of energy I had to get back to the shore. Ever since that, I don't have any interest in getting crazy like that in the ocean. I'll go stand out there. I'll let my feet wash. If it's a little swim beach, I'll get a little bit out there, but I have no interest, bro. It's just not even worth it to me. Sure. And I see these cats surfing and doing this big wave shit. I'm just like, no way. No way. And I get there's boats out there and there's people looking after them, but once you have that kind of experience, I don't know. It just did, for me anyway, it just did something to me. Look at Neighborhood in the chat. I saw that on your IG story. Gave me flashbacks. Same thing happened to me. I began to reflect on my life and was preparing to drown. Worst experience of my life. Luckily, I kept swimming and stumbled upon a higher rock that I was able to climb onto. Dude, he knows exactly what I'm talking about right there.
That's just luck. That's almost pure luck, you know?
It's the ocean shit is just nothing to play with. A lot of good stuff in the chat. Hopefully all you guys, for the people that didn't know that tip, you guys know the tip, man. Swim side to side instead of trying to swim. You think maybe you can catch a wave and swim into the beach, but if it's a rip tide like that or rip current, go side to side. Misha said parallel towards the beach is the way to go.
Yeah, I don't think I know my parallels and horizontals and verticals when I'm drowning. I'm gonna be like, parallel? What the hell's parallel?
See, this is me, Brian Jackson. Like the rest of the chat, try to go straight. You'll tire yourself out. The ocean's super dangerous for people not paying attention without proper training. Still a crapshoot even then. That's me, dude. I don't have proper training and I wasn't paying attention. And I got my ass kicked. Almost got pulled out to sea by the boogie board. Yeah. Can't do it. Speaking of drowning now and a pool, did you hear the story about Carl Crawford, bro? The baseball player, Carl Crawford?
No, I didn't.
So Carl Crawford lives in Texas and he had a few people over for a gathering. Like they were having some kind of little gathering and they had like, I don't know, it was under 10 people over for a gathering. One of the people over there was this lady, and she was responsible for taking care of a 5-year-old boy. I guess it wasn't even her son, according to the report. The boy wandered away and fell into the pool, and she jumped in after him, and somehow they both end up drowning, dude, in his pool.
In a pool?
No one else around. I know, like in a regular, I was super shocked to hear that story. So, yeah, it's crazy. I just saw the story on the New York Post and I was like, Jesus. So a lot of weird shit's happening in 2020. Just weird stuff, dude.
It is. Yeah.
It just seems, you seen all those memes, my plans for 2020 and then something, the funny shit.
The complete fail on the other side.
Yeah. OJ, I saw like one that was like my plans was like the girl. It was like OJ Simpson. OJ Simpson was 2020 and he's like smiling.
Oh wow!
Oh, she cracked me up.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. There's been a lot of death, and I don't know. As we have more social media influence and stuff like that, we obviously know more and see more than what we ever have. So I think that's part of it. But 2020, man, it's not off to a banger. It's one of the worst years, and I think you're having other elements that wouldn't naturally come if we weren't in a pandemic. You're having more social anxiety. You're having more just anxiety in general. You're having more. I'm hearing a lot more of like suicides, shootings, people shooting themselves, hanging themselves. It's, man, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I would agree with you on that.
What about let's move on. We're talking, with Shad, Gaspard, and the wrestling stuff. Did you see the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring?
Haven't been able to watch it yet. No, man. I have been watching some things, but haven't been able to watch that yet.
That series I've really been addicted to, and I thought all the episodes were great. But Saint Skinner and I were talking about it on Twitter. Once the Chris Benoit came out, part 1 and part 2 of the Chris Benoit, that was the first one to drop of this season. The show's called Dark Side of the Ring. It's on Vice TV, or Vice if you get that channel. If you don't, you can stream them on YouTube. They're not as good quality, but people bootlegged them. So if you don't get Vice or you don't have Vice, that's how I had to do it, bootleg. I'm cheap and I wasn't trying to pay. But you can actually get, if you go to vicetv.com, I think you can get like a couple free passes to watch it and stream it to your TV that way. Anyway, Dark Side of the Ring, Owen Hart. This is the episode I've been waiting for since the Chris Benoit one came out, and it did not disappoint, dude. It was great. This is the very first time that this story has really been told in its entirety with cameos from his family. So they had his daughter in there, they had his wife in there, and they had his son in there. And then you get Jim Ross, legendary WWE announcer. He takes part in there. The Godfather, who was supposed to be Owen Hart's opponent that night, he's in there. A couple other former wrestlers, Jim Cornette, a former big-time wrestling manager, promoter. Jim Cornette's been in all of them, but the one guy that wasn't in there that I would have liked to see was Jerry Lawler, because he was sitting there ringside calling the match with JR, and Jerry still has a really, really close relationship with WWE. So of course he's not going to do anything like that to fracture that, because in this documentary, dude, it really shits on Vince McMahon heavy.
Really?
And it really makes you look at kind of Vince in a different light. And I already knew Vince was kind of a piece of shit. I'm such a deep wrestling fan, not just WWE, but all wrestling, AEW, WCW, all the wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan through and through. So I already knew Vince was a piece of shit. It doesn't deter me from liking wrestling or not liking wrestling or whatever, or WWE. But in this shit, if you don't know the story, Owen Hart is swinging. He's supposed to do this thing where he's swinging from the rafters up above the ring, and he's going to make an entrance. You remember how Sting used to drop in from the rafters in the 90s, late 90s? Owen Hart was going to do something similar. And they had done this with this character called the Blue Blazer. They've done it a few different times before. And they said that they had this world-class rigging company that had rigged him up. This company had rigged the best of the best, dude, from Siegfried and Roy to Elton John to all these entertainers, dude, that have elite entertainers. So this company had been rigging him. Owen had done it a few different times at a few different shows. And so he wasn't really that worried about it. He goes into this show in Kansas City, Missouri. It's at a WWE pay-per-view called Over the Edge. And he goes into this one, and it's a different crew rigging it. It's not the same people that had been rigging him, but he kind of just goes through with whatever. So I won't give away the whole episode, but Owen Hart, we all know, he tragically falls to his death. Now, what we don't know is the clasp that he's using is like a quick release clasp, but it's for like a boat, dude. They said in the episode that this is like a boat clasp. It's not like the true rock climbing, mountain climbing like clasp.
Like carabiner. It was
like, yeah, dude, carabiner. There you go. It was one for like a boat or some shit. And the dude just, the thing, 6 pounds of pressure is all it takes for this thing to release. So right when Owen Hart started to go down, the thing popped open, dude. Wow. And the whole point of this thing was just to make it less clunky when Owen got to the ground, because I guess in the previous shows that they had done, he gets to the ground and it's a little bit hard to get the harness off, and it kind of just looks a little clunky on TV. And Vince and the writers and WWE Creative didn't like that. So they wanted to use this quick release clasp. Well, the idiot that was rigging up Owen Hart, I guess, had never done this before, had no clue what he was doing, uses this boat clasp that was supposed to release under 6 pounds of pressure. And my guy just falls from the rafters, dude, as soon as he starts to get lowered down. And this is while the arena is dark. They're showing a promo of him on the screen. All of a sudden, because he's supposed to be lowered in, and then the lights are going to come back up and he's going to be coming down. Well, all of a sudden he starts to come down and he just falls, dude. And he falls all the way down and he lands on the ring post. He hits the ring post, hits the ring, blood everywhere. And that's where the shit went crazy, dude, because Vince McMahon continues to do the show. He continues to put on the show. They have 5 more matches after Owen Hart dies in that ring. They stretcher him out. Maybe he's not dead at the time, but they stretcher him out. He dies on the way to the hospital or at the hospital. And they continue to do the show. And Owen Hart, where he hit the ring, like I said, there's blood in the ring. There's a dent in the rings. The boards that make up the ring were actually broken and cracked. So the wrestlers said that running the ropes, they could feel and see a little dent in the ring. And they continue to do this show. And not only is that mind blowing, Vince McMahon. So Owen Hart's wife, she's a doctor now. I don't know if she was a doctor at the time, but she's a doctor now. She ends up going to Kansas City. She goes and does all her own investigating, goes up into the rafters. She's like, I want to see it all. I need this closure. And she ends up suing WWE, which obviously it's the company that killed her husband. She ends up suing them. And Vince McMahon throws down a counter lawsuit and tries to sue her. And it's just like, wow, dude, what the nerve to you or the rigging company that you employed killed her husband and you're trying to sue her. It just really
unbelievable.
It was, yeah, dude, it's an episode that I think if you're a wrestling fan, you're really going to enjoy the whole thing. But man, his wife and his son just come across so good in it, dude. They come across so good. They come across like they really gotten good closure. They have an Owen Hart Foundation now where they do a ton of different things for widowed wives or single women raising children. Really, really cool how they've come out of it, but just an incredibly tragic story, as a lot of those are, dude. If you watch those Dark Side of the Ring, some of those things, like I told you about the New Jack one, some of them make you a little squeamish. They just kind of so yeah, it was a wild story. So you got to check it out. The thing that is really weird too is Owen Hart's not in the WWE Hall of Fame because his wife will not allow it. She said, hey, I don't want him being immortalized by the company that killed him.
Yeah,
you know,
no doubt.
I don't want it. And I can totally understand her stance on that.
Now, how much of the pay-per-view? So I know you said it was dark kind of in the ring because it was waiting to light up when he, made his appearance or whatever. Was like the pay-per-view, did they show much of that? Like
on the documentary?
Yeah, well, not even on the documentary, but did the pay-per-view event really show?
So in the doc, it talks about that, and they show clips, and they basically Jim Ross is sitting there talking. He's like, they're giving me updates in the headset, but they're not telling me anything. They're not telling me what's going on. They're not telling me. And they're like, well, because all they're doing is panning to the crowd, and they're just showing the crowd, and they're just showing the crowd. They're not showing the ring at all. They're not showing what's going on. And so they just keep cutting to JR every couple of minutes. And JR's he's like, I'm supposed to give these updates, and I got no update. I've got nothing new to say since the last time 3 minutes ago when I went on. And so he's just kind of trying to fumble there on live TV while they clean up Owen Hart in the ring.
Wow.
And he's just like, doesn't know what to say, dude. I mean, he has no idea. It's very sad, but yeah, they show a lot of the clips of JR, dude. They show the cuts, and he's like, well, unfortunately, folks, I have the unfortunate responsibility of coming on here and letting you know that we have had a tragic accident with Owen Hart. Owen Hart has had an accident. This is no storylines. This isn't a part of the show. And we'll try to keep you updated the best we can. And he's just like shaking. He's like stumbling through it, And then he said that the dude in his headset, the guy at the head of creative or whatever, tells him in his headset, hey, I need you to go on and update that Owen Hart has died. And we're coming back in 10, 9, 8. And that's all he gets, dude. That's all the time he gets. And he basically just comes on camera and he goes, I'm really sorry to let you folks know that Owen Hart has died here tonight in Kansas City, Missouri. And, he's like, what you saw on TV was the reaction of 10 seconds of preparation. He's like, I literally got no time. And Lawler was gone. Lawler had walked off the set and went to the back and tried to check in. And it was crazy, bro. It really is. It's very sad. Just a sad tale.
Yeah,
a lot like a lot of the
Dang.
wrestling stuff, you know, a lot of those wrestling stories where wrestlers are injured or die and stuff like that. But I think that's probably the most tragic in-ring thing that's ever happened in wrestling.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, maybe some of the New Jack stuff, if you want to talk about that, but that wasn't on the level of WWE. You know, that wasn't on there. It was ECW. It wasn't the same thing. They were in a basically like a little bingo hall, if you will, like a tiny little arena. You know, it wasn't a full-on sports stadium like in Kansas City, Missouri, a sports arena. So crazy, but I recommend it if you're a wrestling fan. Even if you're not and you just like a good documentary, go check out some of those Dark Side of the Ring episodes on Vice TV. You know, Dal, let's do this really quick, and then we'll move into a little bit of sports, as much sports as we can. As I was saying earlier, there's just not a ton of sports going on, and it's kind of taken away from the show a little bit, but we'll get into that in a second. I saw this article on drive-in concerts. I really am curious about your I'm really curious about your thought on this, or if you've seen anything like this, if you know anything about it.
Yes, I have. You know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And I think in a world where this isn't going to end anytime soon, and, you know, you hear all these people just saying, hey, this is the new world order. This is kind of the new, you know, the new thing that we have to get used to. I think we have to be creative. And, you know, I think media and entertainment is one of those that's right up there. You know, I think about like, how are they going to shoot live movies? How are they going to get back into production? And as I look into that, they're talking like an extra $1 or $2 million just to have this preventative care, the testing and having people distance and having all these different protocols that they're going to follow. You know, movie production's going to cost you an extra $1 million on top of what it already does, is what they're saying. But getting back to these drive-ins, I'm pretty pumped because where I came from, and I think it was just our age. I think not only in my hometown, but in Denver, you know, everywhere has had drive-ins at one point, and everybody's kind of enjoyed the drive-in theaters, right? So I'm super pumped that they're coming back. I remember I've got so many great memories of throwing a bunch of homies in the back, piling them in the trunk because they charge per head. But if they can't see your head, you ain't being charged. So I have all these great memories, dude, of drive-in theaters, you know, and being able to do that, and, you know, drinking your own beers and drinking whatever it is that you want to do. I wasn't, because I was super young with drive-ins, but, you know, being able to have your own snacks and do your own thing. I remember some of the homies barbecuing like at their cars and going to, you know, eat hamburgers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of great memories of these drive-in theaters that are going to start coming back and that you're going to see. So I'm actually really excited about that. The concerts though, I get it, and I'm glad that these musicians and everybody involved in production of a concert can get paid and have something to do. But I'm going to be a little selfish, and I'm going to say the vibe is going to be a vibe unlike any other. It's going to be such a lame vibe because these artists feed off the energy, and the patrons feed off the energy of the bands. And I think that's a dynamic that is going to get lost in translation. And I'm really bummed about that. I'm bummed selfishly about losing that energy that I've always been used to. So I'm a little concerned with that. But hey, man, I think with everything that's going on, I think if you don't have an open mind going into anything, you're going to lose. Life is going to suck for you. You know, and I'm having to really try to figure that out daily, because I want to complain to Robin so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm not excited about anything. I don't really want to do anything. I don't want to put myself out there. Let's wait for this to end. And it's going to be a while. And I think there's cool aspects to this, but I really worry about that intimacy, that energy, that feeding off the crowd and feeding off the fans and the artists. I just look at Red Rocks, like, you're going to take that away from me and I'm going to be in a car now. Like, it's just that selfish mentality that I have so far. So I'm not.
Oh, I'm with you, dude. I looked at this. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What is this thing? Like, if you don't know what we're talking about, go Google drive-in concert. Just right. Look it up. This is apparently about to be a thing. There's a lot of promotions, including Live Nation, I think, is even jumping in on it.
Oh, Live Nation is all in.
Yeah. A bunch of indie promotions, smaller promotions that are going to really try to get this going. And I just don't like a drive-in movie. Okay. A drive-in concert, bro. Like, I thought the exact same thing. Looking at the photo of this, it's a stage at where a drive-in movie theater would be, like a screen, and you've got two little screens on the side, and then you got the band actually performing in the middle, and then you've got tons of cars lined up like a drive-in theater for however far they go back. I don't know how deep it goes, but it looks to me like this would be just a nightmare, bro. Yeah. For me personally, just a nightmare. And I'm with you. We are going to have to adapt. We're going to have to change. Things are not the same. We're not going to be able to get back to normal anytime soon. And there's going to have to be stuff that changes. You know me, I already hate going in crowds. I've talked about this on the show. I don't like crowds. Yeah. I don't like going to some shit where I don't have exclusive access and I can't just walk in. If I don't got a hookup, if I don't know somebody, if I know I'm going to have to wait in a long ass line, or I'm going to have to deal with a bunch of nonsense just to go do something, I'd rather do it at home or not do it. And that's just me. But now, if it was something my lady really wanted to do, and I'd go do it. You know, she was like, hey, I really want to go to this, and this. All right, let's figure out how we can make it work, and I'll enjoy myself and I won't ruin your time. But fortunately, my lady's pretty badass. We're very similar. And we had this talk the other night, and I think we're on the same page. I was like, babe, I was like, you realize, you know what all this stuff means? She's like, what? I was like, we're not going to do shit anytime soon. I go, look at the way it was before. We didn't like dealing with a bunch of people and waiting in lines and dealing with crowds. I go, now 10 times worse. As soon as all this stuff starts to open up a little bit and things start to everyone is going to flood and want to get out and want to be a part. I want no part. I don't want to be a part of any of it. I don't want to be out with those people. I don't want to be pushed into this weird way of doing stuff. I'll just wait it out. And if I really feel like I need to, then I'll reevaluate myself at that time. But for me, the drive-in concerts is not going to be something I'm attending. Right. It's just not. Concerts already, I didn't hit a ton of shows to begin with just because, especially like the big stadium shows, the ones they'll have at Mile High Stadium or all that stuff. The last thing I went to like that was at Coors Field.
Was that Hootie and the Blowfish with me?
Oh, I'm talking about a big stadium show. Where was Hootie at?
That was at Fiddler's Green or
Fiddler's. I don't mind Fiddler's. It's not too bad to get in and out of there. The traffic ain't too crazy. Parking's not cracking you over the head too much.
Right.
Fiddler's, I don't mind. I'll go see shows at Fiddler's, no problem.
Right.
But Red Rock's pretty similar, not too bad. I'm not, I went and saw Stevie Wonder at Red Rocks last year.
Yeah.
Not too bad. But as far as like big stadium shows like this, and this reminds me of, this drive-in just reminds me of like this kind of thing. I'm not trying to do it, dude. I'm not trying to go be around all those people in our cars and have to hear the concert. So check this out, just to give you guys fill you in if you don't know what we're talking about. They're going to have these concerts, and you're going to have some of them will have speaker systems hooked up to the stage. Some of them will just you'll be listening through your car. That sounds terrible to me. Why are you going to a show sitting in your car watching the guys from far away, but you're just listening on your stereo? You have to be avid. That sounds like the people that go to Fish and go to all these hippie jam bands that do that bullshit. That sounds like that crew for me. Not my style. Not for me. Why are you going to listen to you really want to just put your feet up on the dash and sit in your car and watch a show from very far away and hear it through your car speakers? Does that sound like a fun night?
No, thanks.
Dude, check out some of this. Here, let me read you some of the stuff from this article here and what they're charging. George Curry of 888 Management booked the Eli Young Band and Whiskey Myers at Texas Rangers Global Field Life Stadium for a series of drive-in events beginning June 4th. So Eli Young Band, Whiskey Myers, that's country. Just to let you guys know, down in Texas, if you're unfamiliar. He says the economics are very repeatable and opening weekend ticket sales are already profitable for everyone involved. So I guess I'm in the minority, Dal. I'm the only one that thinks this stinks, apparently. The Global Life shows will open with 450 cars at $40 a car, but they could expand to 1,500 cars with 2 or 3 ticket buyers apiece. This estimated gross for such an event works out to be about $120,000 in revenue plus potential sponsorship revenue. For some drive-in concerts, expenses are lower than usual since many acts will opt to transmit audio wirelessly instead of hauling pricey sound equipment. It's not interesting to the artists who are usually making $200,000 or more a night, but those artists probably don't need the money right now, Curry says. If you can get a place that's big enough, you're talking about carving up $100,000 to $200,000 a night, and that's very worthwhile to a lot of people, he says. But then when it comes to expanding the audiences, he adds, the big question becomes bathrooms. That was my next question. How are all these people going to take a piss? How are they going to buy a beer? That's a lot of the beer and alcohol sales. That's a lot of the experience for a lot of people that go to concerts. They want to go have a night out. They want to have a few adult beverages. They want to have some wine. They want to have some beer. Well, when you're doing that, people got to take a piss. So what happens there? So check this out. They're going for most live events, drive-in theaters simply have boosted restroom staffing. There's going to be someone who walks in right behind you with gloves and sanitizer, so the next person is totally sanitized, says Alan Thompson, managing promoter. That sounds insane to me. Does that absolutely sound like, this sounds like every headache I've ever had that I don't want.
Right.
I'm going to this thing and having to deal with a bunch of people crowding into the bathroom that we got to now we got to wait in a huge line to get in the bathroom. And then it's going to be even longer line because it's going to take longer for everyone just to take a piss. You're not unloading 40 people in the men's room at once at a urinal. You're having to wait for people to go in and do the spraying and sanitize right behind everyone.
I'm just wondering if I get my undercarriage cleaned for free. Do you have to pay extra for that?
I'll send him an email, Dal.
Okay. Send him an email.
Hit him up on Twitter.
I'll hit up Live Nation on Twitter.
Exactly.
How much for an undercarriage cleaning? And do you guys do that?
So check this out. Now that it's urban concert went so smoothly, the only thing that's changed is the tailgate party will now be a concert, the country star said. Live Nation plans to expand drive-in shows to its 50 amphitheaters. That means restrooms, in addition to parking lots and security staff and attendants are built in. So that I kind of don't understand. What they're going to have they're going to have these outside the stadium. They're going to have, I don't get it. They're going to have the drive. So I'm trying to picture like Fiddler's Green. They're going to have it out in the parking lot. And then you go into the venue to use the bathroom.
Huh. That's weird.
Feels weird to me. Feels super forced. So that's kind of the details on how they're trying to execute this. Check this out. At the 150 car digital drive in Mesa, Arizona, regional jam band Spafford will play $100 per vehicle concert this Sunday evening. Are you kidding me? People are paying $100 per car. This is exactly what I just said. Did you hear? Regional jam band Spafford. This is exactly who the hell this is for, bro. I'm telling you, it's for this Fish, the Slightly Stupid, what's some more of those jam bands that come here? Yonder Mountain String Band.
Dude, leftover salmon.
Leftover salmon. All that stuff. This is for those people. This is for the people that want to. I just don't see who else is doing this. Are you going to go to a hip hop show? Are you seeing hip hop fans doing this?
No, absolutely not. No, and you know what? Hip hop's tough because a lot of hip hop shows, they're not even like rapping all their lyrics. They're doing like every other lyric or every other couple lyrics. And then you take that and amplify that into like a speaker that you have that props on your window. Get out of here. No way. No,
that's fine for drive-in movie. Like that's totally fine. But I'm not paying $100 to get into a concert where I'm sitting in my car and I'm listening through the stereo. I'm just not doing it. I'll catch the live version when they put it on Spotify in a couple weeks.
You won't come with me. You won't come with me to see John Mayer and the Dead and Company.
Nope.
For that reason,
yeah, no doubt.
Goat James, a lot of people would get arrested for DUI. That's my next concern.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling people to drive into this place and everyone's going to be consuming alcohol. Maybe there's going to be, there will be, not maybe, there will be responsible people that'll have someone driving in there that's not dealing with it. But how do you monitor the alcohol situation? Are you searching everyone's car so they're not just getting boozed up in the whip? How do you do that? Or is it just like, BYOB, bring your own booze?
We're in a pandemic. If the pandemic doesn't kill you, the booze will. Have a nice concert.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept for me. But it's a no for me, Doug.
How about no?
I'm with you. I like the movie idea, and I'm excited about the movies. Possibly, I think that's cool.
I would love that. I've been waiting for drive-ins to open in Colorado. I was like, why aren't these places open? Mia and I tried to take a little drive-in date a few weeks ago. I'm like, what are we doing here? I know there's not like new movies coming out, but show me some old shit. I don't care.
True.
I'm down to do the old school drive-ins, but not the new shit. Anyway, let's move to let's get into some sports. I don't know how deep we want to get. Let's hit this Tiger versus Phil really quickly that is coming up this weekend. You have all the details on that, Dal?
Yeah, I do have some details on this. So this is pretty cool, man. So you have Tiger Woods teaming up with Phil Mickelson in terms of putting this together. That being said, Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning will be playing together, and you have Phil and Tom Brady playing together. So what is going to happen with this? The format is it's match play, 18 holes. 4-ball will be the format on holes 1 through 9. So the amateur will be giving 3 handicap strokes on the 9. So Tom Brady and Peyton Manning will have 3 strokes in their favor, obviously going into this. 1 stroke each on a par 3, par 4, and par 5 on holes to be identified by the committee. Then modified alternate shot will be the format on holes 10 through 18. On every hole through 10 through 18, each player will play from the teeing area. A ball will be chosen by in play and strokes and are played on alternating basis until the hole is decided under the rules of golf. So it's almost like a scramble. It's almost like best ball, it sounds like to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then let's see here. In the event of a tie match, the match will be extended. The match will extend to a short hole of approximately 100 to 125 yards to the 18th green until a winner is determined. The form of play, when play is extended, shall remain modified alternate shots. So it's a little different. Obviously, you have handicaps, and I think you have to take that because you don't have professional golfers. And then the whole kind of best ball seems a little weird. Now, will I be tuned in on a Sunday with these 4 big names, arguably the GOATs of each one of their sports? Hell yeah. I'm anxious to see this, man. Live golf, live sports. The TaylorMade event last weekend went off without a hitch. It was cool to see some of the best golfers out there. Again, trying to help charities and whatnot. I think this will raise some good money. And again, just kind of tee this up for next month because the PGA Tour resumes next month. So I'm ready to go.
So this happens on Sunday. They're playing a full 18.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did you see the thing that kind of turned me off about this shit? Obviously the first one, the match between Phil and Tiger was the worst.
Was poop.
So annoying. The trash talking was annoying. Like it was billed as this big pay-per-view event. There's going to be throwing down money on holes. Like it was
right.
You and I could have had a way more entertaining event. I don't even golf like that. Like, I mean, just the trash talking and the betting alone would have been better.
Totally.
If you go back, anyway, it was a terrible event. Now they're going to run this thing back, and they're hoping that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady's chops, I guess, are going to bridge the gap or be the glue to kind of hold it together. But I've seen all the promo going on this week, and I see Tiger and Peyton Manning doing this promo, and Peyton kind of annoys me sometimes. I feel like he's a little shticky, and it's just a little, kind of annoying. Not everything. Like I love the Saturday Night Live stuff he does, but some stuff Peyton does just is a little bit corny to me.
It's
just
dry.
A little
very dry.
It's old white man pulling his white tube socks up. That's what that's
Totally.
That's what it is to me. That's Peyton Manning sometimes. So they go around. They're doing this promotion this week. Is there anything more? Gosh, Tiger Woods is so cringe sometimes. Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning together, they ask Tiger Woods, hey, so are you giving him some golf tips? Are you like helping him out? Oh, no, Tiger's like, oh no, I'm not giving him any tips. I'm not helping him out at all. He's on his own. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Earl, or not Earl, his dad's Earl. Eldrick.
Yeah.
I'm like, Eldrick, what are you doing? Tiger's real name's Eldrick, if you didn't know. I'm like, Eldrick, what are you doing? He's on your team. Why are you cutting him down and telling him you're not giving him any tips? And you hope he's basically almost saying, I hope he plays bad. I'm like, do you not understand the game? Do you understand that he's on your team trying to help you out? You two are going against those two. Am I missing something here? Did you see that too?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. Yeah, it's just weird, dude. Tiger's he kind of acts like a cornball at times, just a weirdo.
And that's it. That's why I hope Phil and Brady just smoke him. I hope Phil and Brady just smash Tiger and Peyton, just for the corniness.
I think this is interesting because it's not on pay-per-view. It's going to be very accessible. I think they're doing it on TNT, if I remember correctly, this time. So I think that'll have some added eyes. But yeah, I think whoever put this event on is really banking on Brady because Brady and Peyton have had a past of kind of, back and forths, John at each other. And I don't know if it's enough banter. Did you see Peyton's show on ESPN where he and Brady went to Jim, what's his name's house? The announcer or the commentator for golf?
What? Jim Nance. Thank you.
Jim Nance. There you go. Yeah. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Yeah. So, and that was okay, but it wasn't a very long segment and it worked. 18 holes of chaos. I think it's going to get weird.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be, it's not must-see television. This is the perfect time to do it though, because nothing else is on. If there was a bunch of other stuff on, even if right now we're talking NBA finals going on.
Yeah.
I'm not even touching that thing. We're talking NBA finals. You got the little baseball, little Sunday. That's what I really realized I missed. I didn't think I'd really miss baseball that much. It's kind of like, yeah, I'll take it or leave it. Sunday baseball. I really enjoy just catching a little Sunday baseball, turn it on, watch the first couple innings, take a little snoozer through a 2 or 3, wake up, catch the end of the game, maybe throw in a little live bet late. I miss that. That on a Sunday. I didn't think I would miss that as much as I do.
I miss basketball, dude. God, I miss.
Of course.
They're a bunch
NBA.
of prima donnas, but man, I mean, they're still athletes at their peak, and they're playing their best sport. I miss that, man. It's just a time of season, man. I love the finals. I just love the finals. I love the playoffs. And
who do you think we'd be seeing right now? Who do you think would be watching right now?
I'm trying to think how far we'd be into the playoffs now. What would
no? If the finals is cracking, I think it would be. I think we would be because it ends in early June. I think we'd be on the cusp. We'd be really close to the finals, if not there.
For sure. I want to say the Clippers. I really, really do, especially with, I think they were really. You think
the Clips show over the Lakers?
No, I want to say that, but unfortunately it's going to be the Lakers. It's got to be the Lakers.
Oh, dude, it was Kobe year. It was LeBron. LeBron was about to do this shit. It was nobody was winning this. It was the Lakers in there for sure. I think it was Lakers. It was.
Yeah, I think so too. For sure, the Bucks. The Bucks just don't have enough to take out the Lake show, unfortunately. So we would have probably kinged the Lakers. I think. Like I said, I got nothing against the Lakers, especially with the whole Kobe stuff and just LeBron putting the whole team on his back. I love aspects of that, but I just LA and what Kobe did to my Nuggets, and I'm just not a big fan of LA as a franchise. I love LeBron. I think he's one of the greatest for sure. But switching these teams, making these big, creating what he did in Miami, creating what he did now in LA. The Cavs, I think he did pretty well in the Cavs, but creating these big teams, I'm just not a fan.
But in the chat, Chase, what's wrong with old white man dad bod jokes, Thomas? Nothing's wrong with them, Chase. Just not really. It's not my cup of tea. I'm sure there is. You brought a good point. There's probably an audience for it. There's probably a lot of people that like that stuff. For me, it's just never been my kind of humor. It's never been that good. That's why Peyton was so good to me on Saturday Night Live, because it was not that. It was Peyton Manning throwing footballs at kids' heads, cussing them out. I thought that was incredible. Remember that United Way commercial? Peyton Manning's teaching them how to rob the car. He's teaching them how to use the Slim Jim and pick the lock on the car. And then he's talking all kinds of crap to them. He's like, he's basically talking shit because they're not catching the ball. And he's all right, go run the route. Boom. And he's throwing the ball, throwing like rifles at him, cracking him in the back of the head. That's fire. That was classic Peyton. That was Peyton at his best. Dad joke Peyton. I could leave it.
So as the NBA comes back, are you worried about somebody like LeBron and the Lakers? LeBron's a little old when it comes to obviously the NBA, but he's got a lot of young talent surrounding him, fortunately. Are you worried about conditioning for some of these older veterans of the league going into this? Because it sounds like June 1st, NBA operations are kind of rocking and rolling, and then possibly God, I don't know what I heard. I heard June 21st thrown around. I don't know if that's like maybe the start or that's an aim for the start, but they're saying by July, we're going to have possibly playoffs happening. So one, are you worried about veterans because of the conditioning, getting back into this? You saw LeBron, you saw his quarantine beard. You seen, oh man, that guy looked like a mess. He needs to get to the barber. He needs to get there ASAP. And that's somebody with a mullet talking, but are you worried about the veterans through this type of like just throwing them out there pretty quick? And number two, do you think we'll have playoffs by July 1st?
For one, no, I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried because these guys make millions of dollars a year. If they go out there and pop their hammy, that's on them. You couldn't stay in shape. You're being paid millions of dollars during this quarantine. That's on you. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it. Now, I think the level of play we might get, I was thinking about that the other day. Are we going to get a slower, a little lower level of play because, people are technically not in game shape or whatever? I don't know for sure because I think adrenaline is going to kick in and these dudes are going to be so happy to be back and be balling and be playing. I don't really see it, man. These guys are well-oiled machines. They're Ferraris. They're elite level athletes. So I don't see them having any issues with that. What I do think should happen, the first week back, everyone should not be able to get a haircut. Everyone should have to play the first week with their quarantine look.
Yeah, that would be tight. Oh my God.
That'd be great. You wouldn't even recognize some of these. Wait, who's that? Is that Pat Beverly out there? Who the hell is that?
Oh, Beverly.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Oh, that's tight. I'm anxious to see what the NBA does for like the, I know they don't do 9th seed, 10 seeds, but those people that are in that 9th, 10th spot, round robins, what type of accelerated tournaments could they do to possibly bolster these teams that are, 1, 2, maybe even 3 spots out of contention, out of making the playoffs? Like, do they involve them in this? Do they do like a round robin tourney? Do they do something that allows some movement within those last few spots? I'm anxious to see.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really love the just throwing everybody and doing a crazy March Madness style NBA tournament.
Yeah.
I still think that would be absolute gold. That'd be fun to do. As we move down, let's hit this really quickly. The Dak Prescott situation, there's been a lot of talk, and this is really picking up steam over the past few days or the past week, I guess you could say. I think it's a July 15th deadline that they have to have him signed by. I think there's a multi-year, let me see. Yeah, Cowboys focused on getting Dak Prescott signed to a new deal before the July 15th deadline for finalizing multi-year contracts with franchise tagged players. So that's the restriction there. They have to have it done by July 15th if they're going to have it done. Otherwise, they got to tag him.
Huh.
Now, do you think what do you think? Do you think he ends up getting the deal? Do you think they end up getting it done? How do you think they move here? It's obviously not Jason Garrett anymore. So You got Mike McCarthy over there with Jerry Jones. Mike McCarthy, what do you think happened?
I feel like the deal probably gets done, but I don't know if it's deserving. I kind of looked back at this, right? So you have most guaranteed money in a contract, right? You have Jared Goff at $110 million. You had Carson Wentz at $109.9. You had Russell Wilson at $107. You have Matt Ryan at $100 million, right? So if we look at those numbers and then we take it back to Dak, he turned down a 5-year, $175 million contract. Now, I think what's happening is obviously Dak wants to set a new precedent. He wants to set a new kind of most guaranteed money in a contract. He wants to set history. And I think he's got some things going for him that are good, but when you look at his yardage, his percentages, his completions, his number of TDs, all really bodes very, very well. But the W's when it matters aren't there. The turnovers, like last year, he had 13 turnovers himself within the season. And, I just don't think he's worth the money of having the most guaranteed money in a contract. Now, we could look at Kirk Cousins. Was he really worth it? Well, it's hard to say now because we've seen what he's done since he had that big contract, but I don't think Dak is the poster child for the most guaranteed money. And I think his ego is telling him that's what he wants. That's where he wants to be. He wants to set history. And if anybody's going to do it, Jerry Jones, crazy rich ass, might be the guy to do it. But I don't think what he's done is enough. I don't think he's done enough.
I'm 100% with you. I've been saying this for months. I think the Cowboys should move on from Dak, dude. Not even franchise tag the guy. Look at this, Dal. If they franchise tag him, for starters, he'll make $31.4 million this year under the exclusive version of the franchise tag. But then come 2021, absent a long-term deal, Dak will make a 20% raise under that franchise tag. So he'll get $37.68 million next year. That is an insane amount, dude. $69.08 million over 2 seasons is what they'd have to pay him. Is that guy worth that much money? Let him go, bro. Move him on. Let him go hit the free agent market and let somebody else make that stupid move. I don't even like the Cowboys. If you hate the Cowboys, you better be praying for them to sign Dak Prescott. This would handicap them. If they sign this guy to a long-term deal, this is going to handicap that franchise easily for the next 5 years. Easily. Especially with the contracts they're giving Elliott. They just gave Cooper the big deal. Dude, move on. I think Andy Dalton could do the equivalent. And guess what? What has happened since Mike McCarthy got there? I don't think Mike McCarthy's in love with Dak. I think it's coming from Jerry Jones. I think Mike McCarthy is saying, yeah, we'll roll with Andy Dalton. Because what has he done since he got there? Brought Andy Dalton in.
Any new coach, any new boss that comes in, and there's a little squirrel in the agency, and I can't call Dak that. He's just trying to get his money. Not a problem, but it just does not bode well. And you look at the Red Rocket right now, or they call him the Red Rifle. Red Rifle.
The Red Ryder BB gun.
Pause. The Red Rifle, it's looking pretty well for him to be in the starter, this year. And I think they might do that. Yeah, I don't know, man. This Dak thing doesn't look good. And Dak says that he specifically wants the final year to be more than 45 mil. You gotta be you out your damn mind.
Is that true, Chase? I fucking hate Skip. Skip Bayless is the worst. Chase said, according to Skip, Dak is better than Mahomes statistically. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Dude, that's my great point. Z Saturn, too much blame. Oh, no, never mind. Not terrible point. He said too much blame being put on Dak and not on Jason Garrett. He's out in time to give Dak one shot. Dude, Jason Garrett is not the reason they went 8-8 last year. I don't think so. I think, dude, that was Dallas just laid it out for you, dude. That was statistically his worst season. They didn't even make the playoffs. How do you not make the playoffs and you want that much money? I've said this multiple times on this show. The Brian's laughing at me saying great point and then saying terrible point. I'm sorry, bro. I read it too quickly. Anyway, I crack myself up sometimes. What was I? Oh, I've said it statistically. The NFL, if you look at it statistically, the NFL one player does not make a difference. Quarterback or not. Yes, you need a great quarterback to win in this league, but still there have been tons of great quarterbacks that don't win shit in this league. It's a team game. Can you allocate the money across the team while having someone that's elite at that position? It seems like a lot of teams that pay the quarterback the big money, it bankrupts the team, or it really not bankrupts, but it handicaps the team, and they don't end up winning shit.
Yeah, look at the Vikings. Look at the Vikings. They, as a matter of fact, had to get rid of more money, right? They let Stephon Diggs go. They had to make some of that money back. They had to recoup it because they still need to build around that. They don't have enough to get past, the first or second round of the playoffs. They don't, man. And I think that's exactly what's going to continue to happen with the Cowboys. You look at week 13 with the Cowboys, where the Bills defeated the Cowboys 26-15. Dak Prescott, 32 for 49. He had 355 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 2 fumbles, which made the 13th multi-turnover game in the last 3 seasons. The problem is, like I said, I stand by it. Yes, he's got some badass numbers. He'll get the yards. He'll even get a couple TDs because he's got some backing behind him on the offensive side. He does not get the W's. Look at their division. Dude, it was teed up. They were throwing a layup last year to get in the fucking playoffs, and they could not do it.
Mm-hmm. Not even couldn't even sniff. Not 10 wins, really?
I mean,
you're gonna pay a guy that much money? You can't get 10 wins?
You're gonna pay Dak Prescott the most money. He's gonna have the biggest contract in NFL history. He can't even be a 500 team with Dak.
Russell Wilson did better with way less. I mean, we're talking about a guy that has an elite O-line down in Dallas. You got an elite running back behind you. You got weapons all over the place, and you go 8-8.
You got this new defensive guy who's taken Lee's position. Oh, Vander Rush. This guy's a shit.
Layden, yeah.
They got Layden. They got some things going on over there.
I don't get it, but that's one point. That's a team I was talking about. You brought up the Vikings. Vikings weren't really winning before, but the team that I would bring up is the Seahawks. Look at Russell Wilson's rookie contract when they weren't paying him shit, when they're paying him low money, and you had all those big names over there on defense, and you have beast mode in the backfield, and you were able to pay your O-line. Now Russell Wilson got paid, took a ton of money. Yeah. One of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, just as you were running down that list a little bit ago. Yeah. Now the guy's just running for his life. He has no O-line. The O-line's patchwork over there. They're bringing in all these young running backs, which I'm fine with. Some of those guys are fine, but they're not able to get the weapons that they had before. They're not able to build the defense they had before. And if you give a guy like Dak that much money, that's just a huge mistake for the Cowboys. If the Cowboys do that, they're gonna be terrible for a while. All right, Dallas, jump into sneakers. We got about 15 left. Doing good on time today. Good show today. Let's just start with the Brazil dunk drop from this morning.
Yeah, man. Let me go ahead and get the screen sharing going on here real quick.
Cool. Oh, also, I missed the super chat. Let me just hit this while you're pulling that up. Peter Lee.
Hell yeah!
He hit us with the $1.99 in the super chat, and he said, I'd be willing to come on and talk stocks. Peter, that's good shit, man. That would be, if you know your shit, well, hit me up offline, DM me on IG or Twitter, and let's talk about that. Because if you can educate me and educate some of our people, we can do some stock talk. Let's do it.
I like it. So yeah, the Brazil dunks, man. I was in pretty much every raffle under the sun, one block down to End Clothing to, man, I can't even remember all the raffles that I was in. SNS, of course, nobody wins on SNS. I've never met anybody now who wins with SNS. It just doesn't happen. But I was in every raffle known to man. Like you and I talked about, I was staying trite and true to these. I don't have anything that resembles these at all colorway. So I thought it was a good one for me to try to pick up. I was like, damn, I really like it. And the quality in the pictures that we've seen looks really nice. And I'm a big quality kind of guy. So I was after these dunks and tried my hardest to get them. Tried on sneakers, obviously took the L. A lot of my homies took L's. I don't know anybody that hit on sneakers that I'm very close with. That is, I think EB might have hit a 10.5. I don't know that for sure, but anybody that I'm relatively close to, the 10 people that I talk to frequently about getting shoes, helping me out with shoes, none of them hit. So I kind of watched the prices of these, and I put a low bid in this morning right after these dropped, just hoping I might have a little success. And I had a dollar amount in mind that I wanted to pay, and it did get accepted. So I did get a bid accepted at $260 for these. Now that's a lot of money because these retail for $100, but anything that you see right now is over 310, 320, 330 is kind of where they're all sitting right now. When people get their pairs, obviously that'll dip a little bit, and I could have waited for that, but I feel like that amount that I paid was pretty good. So it was like $260 plus ship. So you throw $12 on that, you throw additional tax on that. I had like $200 in my GOAT credit. So, I didn't
$250 plus shipping, you said?
Yeah, $260 plus shipping.
$260. Yeah. Okay.
So, I thought that was okay. Again, when it's $100 dunk, and I think that somebody, not after fees and stuff, but you think that somebody makes $150 off you, you're a little upset. But,
right.
I had $200 worth of GOAT credit, from some crazy sales back in the day that I just had lingering in there. And I really want the shoe. I think it looks great with the white laces that we have here. I chose that picture specifically. I think that's what most pictures show is the white laces, but I think it's great color blocking. Again, I don't have anything that looks like it, and that specific colorway gives it a very retro look. So I'm happy to have them. Who knows how long GOAT's going to take. So I'm excited to show you fools what they look like in person. and in hand. But yeah, GOAT's probably going to take a little while, so we'll see.
Are you guys going to? Oh, not you guys. Sorry. Are you going to wear those around? You said it's a pair you really wanted. Does that mean you're wearing them around at that price?
Yeah, I think so. I think,
Okay.
that price, especially with the GOAT credit that I had in there, I don't feel bad out of pocket for what I paid. So yeah, I think those are stompers for sure.
You have any fits ready to go? You have any stuff that you're gonna rock with them right away, or you got to go cop some shit?
Not yet, but all the vintage stuff that I've been buying, I just bought another shirt from Grind City Vintage, and it's a Def Leppard. It's the Pyromania shirt from 90 whatever it was, 92 maybe, I think is when that shirt came out. But I just bought that, and that has a little bit of yellow. But no, I'm on the hunt, man. I know that ThriftCon is happening, I think, in August, the end of August. So we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, man, I'm going to be looking for some fits for this because, of course, I don't have anything this colorway in my collection via shoes, which means I don't have any clothing, obviously, that resembles this. So I'm excited, man, to change up my wardrobe a little bit. Get a little color up all in you.
I told you go get that Sean Kemp throwback, bro. Sonics. Or the
I do have that.
Gary
Remember?
Payton, the glove.
I wore
Oh, that's right.
I have the Sean Kemp. That's right. I could wear that.
I forgot about that. How did you forget about that hanging in your closet? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I did forget about that. Huh.
Dow spending all that stimulus. J Dub killing kicks. Brian Jackson matching my Sonics gear. There you go. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Dow got the resale W. I don't know why that cracked me up.
Dow did get the resale W for sure.
That's funny.
All right, so on to.
Hey, wait, Dow, am I tripping really quick? Let me ask you. Oh yeah, go ahead and pull up what you're pulling up. I'm gonna ask you a question. Did I? Was the Ben & Jerry's dunk on the 23rd? I thought.
It is. So
why did I see something about the 26th today? I'm confused.
It is. So you've got the 23rd is the Ben & Jerry for all the skate shops. All skate shops. So like your 303 boards, that raffle ended at 4:00 our time today. And then the Image Denver raffle was yesterday. And I think that went from like 11 to 7. So those are the two skate shops. I don't think Satellite Board Shop in Boulder is doing it. I didn't see at least. But those two are going to have it the 23rd. We find out raffle winnings, I think, on both tomorrow at some point. They're going to let everybody know who won the raffle. So I'm in both. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. But, this is going to be a super hard shoe to get. It's just one of those things. But I am super pumped. I think this shoe, to some people, it's corny. I get it, man. It's a corny shoe. But I think the way it's done, I think the concept behind it, looking just like the chunky monkey Ben & Jerry's, from the faux fur to the dripping swoosh, to the tie-dye inside, to the writing. I think it's probably one of the most creative, well-done shoes. As corny as it may be to some people, this is probably shoe of the year so far, because of all the hype behind dunks, what Travis Scott has done to bring the dunks back in fashion, the concept behind this, the limited and the hype around it. I think right now this is the shoe of the year so far. So,
wow, Dal, look at you, bud.
So what
shoe of the year? It's not.
Dude, check this out.
Okay,
look at what the Strangeloves have done. Look at, dude, $1,300 now. Okay,
you think that was way? I think there was way less pairs of those, wasn't there?
Yeah, they were pretty limited.
Way more of these, right?
Right, because they weren't Strangelove. I don't think were they on sneakers.
I don't think so. I don't remember them being on sneakers.
I can't remember, but yeah, they were pretty limited, right? Very limited with the skate shops. They had limited packaging as well. But look at Travis Scott's. Travis Scott's were on both platforms. The Travis Scott's website did their own drop, and those are obviously, but they're Travis Scott, so that's, again, it's hard to compare with that. But I mean, those are $1,400. This is a dunk that is probably, after it comes out, that first week, you're probably going to see it somewhere between $450 and $550, and that shoe, weeks later, is going to steadily grow to that $1,000 mark. This shoe.
Okay, so after resale, you're saying if I can cop for $550 or less, do it.
Do it. It's an investment for sure.
5 pairs if I can.
Yeah, in a few months, this will be hitting a G. Easy, bro. Easy.
You're sure?
Easy. I'm sure. Positive.
You're giving me shoe stock advice right now. All right.
This is the shoe. Yep. The resale is just going to climb, and it may take a month. But dude, you're gonna see that $1,000 pretty quick, dude. Those are gonna hit 1,000 pretty damn quick.
And you think you'll be able to snag them for $550 or less, huh?
I think that first week, and as the pairs start coming in, that first week to 2 weeks, I think somewhere between, I think at the lowest 450, and I don't really see that. I see it probably between that $500 and $600 range where you could jump in and get a pair. Not the special box, obviously, that you've seen leaked that are friends and family, but the regular kind of multicolored box that the SBs are doing now. Yeah, man, I think 550, even at 600. I think if you see those prices, you better pick up a pair or two if you can.
They think, I think the cow print is really just kind of what turns me off of on the shoe as far as wearability. If that was something different,
yeah,
I'd be a go. But I like the melting swoosh.
Yeah,
I like the baby blue. Something about that print, dude.
You know what would work with these is my nice kicks Woodstock shorts, because they're kind of that tie-dyed vibe, which works really well on the inside. Some of the colors on those though are pretty dark on those shorts.
I was gonna say that'd be
that.
Crazy, guy.
That might be a little much. Yeah.
And isn't there purple on those things?
That might be some Kais Omar bullshit. But yeah, man, I would pick up a pair, dude. Franchise, if I were you, pick up a pair, sit on them, and anything from like 8.5 to 12, pick those up, sit on it.
People in the chat, Misha said they're dropping 700 from prices right now. So he says that according to prices right now, they're going to drop from 700 down. They're going to drop 700 from where they're at now. He's saying.
Yeah, I think so. I think you will be able to get these for $550, that $600 range. I really do believe you'll get that. Damn,
people are not thinking Misha doesn't agree with you. And then Dirty DJ, man, I don't see these for less than 800. Prices are 13 plus right now.
Just wait. But see, and all those are like backdoored, no box fucking setups too, which is really, really weird. So those are all leaked, just backdoor shit. But no, I think we'll see who's right. If anybody wants to DM and throw some money down, I'm prepared.
Oh, you're trying to throw about what?
So Dirty DJ and Misha, hey, DMs are open.
I got 5 on it.
DMs are open.
Dow's trying to put out some bread.
DMs are open. You know what? I saved money because I had 200 in my GOAT account. DMs are open.
Wow.
I didn't spend no stimulus. Stimulus is in the DM. Okay.
I'm not deep enough in the dunk game to like you guys are. So this is all for educational purposes for me. I enjoy this. I want to see it now. This gives me a little. I'm doing the Michael Jackson gif right now with the popcorn, eating the popcorn. I'm waiting to see where this shit. I'm waiting to see what happens here. I'm waiting to see. Status Serigraph. This is a collector's piece if I ever seen one. That's what I saw it as at first. If you're a collector, for me, I mean, this isn't something I would collect. I collect different shit, but this is one I'm going to obviously go after so I can sell it and buy some other shit that I want.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. I just saw Misha's comment. He says, I'm not stimulating your DMs, Dow.
Dow's DMs are already stimulated, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, he doesn't want the viral load.
That's I don't blame him. Said. Stay away from your viral loads.
Yeah, look at John King. John King says 450. See, I think that's on the real low end. I mean, I could maybe see that, but man, I feel like that's just way too low. But I think that nice hot spot's going to be around that 550. I really do.
What's really good about this though is, like we were talking about earlier, if you want to make some money, because Misha doesn't even think they're going to get that low. So if they do get that low, then it's definitely a buy.
Yeah,
it's definitely hey, you got to scoop. Maybe if you got it in the budge, maybe you scoop up a couple pairs, sit on them for a couple months, like Dow said, and then make yourself a cool G.
Yeah, Misha's got that money. He's gonna be buying 3. I know it.
He's gonna be getting 3 for retail, guy.
I know that guy's plugged in. He's probably going to send us some mysterious links and try to help us out.
I know. See, I need to get plugged in, bro. Lately I just been plugged up, eating too much cheese.
Oh, me too, man. Me too. Me too.
Let's Supreme drop this morning.
Yeah,
anything
man.
from that?
I was really looking forward to this drop, like maybe even the vest or the jacket. And then all of a sudden I saw the pants and I was like, oh my God, let me start off with the pants here. So if you look at these pants, they're nothing crazy, right? They're a little obnoxious. It reminds me of my boy Muzz. Dude, when we went to Europe, we went to this club in Amsterdam, and Muzzy had pants just like that you're seeing here that zipped off into shorts, and they were red.
I remember those.
And
Huge
they were
in the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, they were Abercrombie, I think, or Aeropostale, one of the two. And we go to this club, and like I have regular jeans on, and I think the homie, because there's three of us, the other homie had jeans on as well, and we had t-shirts and a hat. We had to take off our hats, but they would not let Muzzy in because he had Abercrombie or Aeropostale pants, the zip-aways, and he and you know what Muzzy's argument was?
It's about to be hot as fuck in that bitch.
They were no, that's a good one too. No, but he's like, hey, you're not gonna let me in? These are Abercrombie pants. Because Muzzy never wore anything like brand name. Never, ever. And he's super proud of these things. Like he's had them for like 10 years, ever since high school, because we went in 2010. And he's like, but sir, these are Abercrombie pants.
The one time he gets some high fashion shit, and then he can't get in the club.
And then he's like, nope, you're not in. So we couldn't go to the club. But so this reminds me of that. But also, I kind of like the techie shit in this. Like black is is the play for me. I would have got the black, and those sold out like in 4 seconds, dude. It was awful. But yeah, man, having kind of the zip offs, I thought about, this is a good time to bring them bitches back. They've got some big pockets on the side. Robin calls me Dennis the Menace because I do my own laundry now, and there's good reason for that because she was always shrinking my shit. But when we first started dating and I moved in,
way to throw her under the bus.
Yeah, no, I didn't throw her under the bus. She was always shrinking my shit. So I'm like, babe, I'll do my laundry now. Like, let me be responsible for that. But when she was doing it for a little while back in the early days, she would call me Dennis the Menace because she'd find like fucking pocket knives and change and money and SIM poppers for phones and my keys and all kinds of shit. She'd call me Dennis the Menace, because all my shit. And this is the perfect pair of pants to bring all that back. So it reminds me of the 90s. It's also very functional. I would go hiking in these because cool, man. Bugs ain't bothering me. I got the full pants on. I ain't getting sunburned. Man, when it gets a little risky and a little crazy, just do a little unzipping and you're good to go. They're versatile. I think they're sick. Multi-pockets. I think they're fresh. I would have loved to have had them.
Yeah, I can't rock with those, but hey, I'm not gonna hate. Hey, everyone's got their own steez. Misha said your girl's supposed to grow your shit, not shrink it.
Ah, yes, that's ain't that the truth? And you know what, man? These pants, if I was a betting man, I'm willing to throw money on the DMs as well, because we will see it. I'm betting that those would actually work with the fear of God highs.
Oh, the black ones, I could see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
So
I didn't argue with that. I won't argue on that.
So that was kind of a deep, saturated thought in the back of my mind as well. Like, just tried to justify the purchase, even though I know that there was no way I could have got that. But those obviously sold within seconds. These jackets, same thing, matching. Look at all the fucking pockets. Like that looks like a dream to me, even though it doesn't look that cool. I just love functionality. I love pockets. I love throwing stuff in places, and I love tactical stuff, right? And it's very tactical to me. And I was interested, and I'm not really a big North Face guy because one, it's too expensive for me, and it just doesn't mean a lot to me. But unfortunately, I had Just Incredible looking out for me. He was able to hit a couple things manual, but a lot of bots failed on this drop for whatever reason. There was a lot of payment errors with a lot of the bots, so he didn't have much good luck with that. I thought
maybe
about
you get some restocks though.
Maybe. I thought about getting the cap, but I can't pull off this type of hat. It's too like runner hat for me, and my fat head doesn't work for that. But I thought that would have been perfect hat, dude, for gardening. All the landscaping shit that I've been doing, I thought that was perfect. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh, don't worry. Just keep growing your mullet. You're going to be fine. You're going to have this built into my head. I don't even need this shit. You know what I mean? So I couldn't justify that purchase. And this for the keys, just having a little flotation I don't have a boat. And those are notorious for boat owners. I don't have a boat. So I didn't get that either. And that was really the only accessory aside from the film. And you and I had kind of talked about the film.
We talked about that. Yep.
That, well, now I got to go buy a camera. Well, I don't even want instant photos. I don't even want that shit. I got an iPhone 11 Pro that's just fine for photos. So I didn't.
It's a novelty item, that's for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, but that was kind of the supreme drop, man. A lot of payment errors, shit sold out. I think the fastest was like 2.8 seconds, 3.8 seconds. So it was a huge success for North Face fans and all you hype beasts. I just wanted the black pants because then nobody would really know they're North Face and they're kind of on the sneaks, but I don't know. I just couldn't get them, unfortunately.
Let's move into the Staple and Shake Shack and Uber Eats collab. Neighborhood put me up onto this a little bit earlier on Twitter. Yeah. Did you know about this?
I didn't actually. Neighborhood, and I was confused because what I'm going to have up on the screen for you is they actually did a collab back in 2014. And let's see here. This was posted in September 12th, 2014. But they did a Staple Shake Shack collab. This new one is also with Staple, Shake Shack, and Uber Eats. So it's kind of a tri-collab. This was a dual collab. So I wanted to kind of show you, this was their big piece back in the day. You got the burger here. You've got the New York, the Lady Liberty. So this is what they did back in 2014. So these two companies collabing isn't a new thing. But as we go... Whoops, damn it. Oh, man, I just closed it out.
Hey, just go to the notes. Just pull up the notes. I put it in the bottom of the notes, bro. You can just double click it.
Did you?
And, just click our the most underrated podcast notes right at the top. Yep. And then scroll down all the way to the bottom. Bam, right there. Just double click that. It'll open up in preview. Bang.
Sick. Nice. So yeah, man. So this is pretty cool. So the Staple, Shake Shack, and Uber Eats. So they're calling it a New York staple. This is actually pretty cool. So here's how it works, right? How to get the goods. So it's kind of this really supplies are limited, and you have a certain way of doing it. So check this out. So you have to sign up for Eats Pass in the Uber Eats app. You have to order $15 or more from Shake Shack on Uber Eats between these certain dates, 5/21 to 5/24. And then on 5/26, you'll actually get a code that allows you to go in and have the ability to purchase your favorite piece and or pieces. But remember how limited these are. So whoever gets the codes first and however that's divvied out, I don't know what that all looks like. But to have something super limited from 3 companies that we're all pretty familiar with and that we use, some even regularly. I know I use Uber Eats quite often, but yeah, man, I think it's pretty cool. The pieces themselves, I think the pigeon on top of the burger is cool. I have a pair of Staple sweats, and they're one of my favorites. I have the Staple Coca-Cola sweats, and they're some of my favorite quality.
I think that's the thing I'd be most interested in. I wouldn't really be interested in the tea, but yeah, those sweats, I love the ones you have.
Oh, dude, they're so nice. And they've got the third pockets in there. The bottoms hold up. I've washed them bitches so much, and they don't really get too dingy. So I think for me, the play is the sweats, the hoodie, and then the shirt. I'd like to get anything because it's so limited, and it's just kind of a cool piece to have as a collector. But the shirt, like I said, I like the pigeon on the hamburger. I get it. But the sweats, man, super sick. Super sick.
As you're pulling up the next thing, I'll hit up a couple comments here. We'll go with the those Yeezy 700s. In the comments, Eats Pass is free for the first month, and you can cancel, FYI, from Neighborhood. Misha said, though, way too many steps, going to probably be a universal code, and I bet it will be leaked. Neighborhood says he doesn't think it'll be universal, though. So kind of interesting there. It just depends on what you think. I guess it's always worth a shot, but if it may be like the drive-in concert to some people, just like too much bullshit to deal with.
Right. For sure. So check this out. So this is on the Adidas app right now. So Icon members probably have a good chance. I say that loosely because every time you think you're going to get something being an Icon member, the best status that you can have, you're probably not going to get it. But these are the Yeezy 700 MNVNs or minivans. These are they're cited to release the 23rd. I went ahead and registered in the app to participate. I may take that back. I mean, to me, it looks like a cooking shoe. It looks like a chef shoe. I look at that and I'm like, oh man, that'd be sick, dude. If you were a chef, you working in a kitchen, I mean, you'd have the best shoe on the game. But for me, it's too much of a cooking shoe, and I just don't really like the looks. The good news is it is a 700 with boost. So these do have boost. So you know damn well these are going to be comfy as a mug. So that's cool. But what are your impressions of these?
I hate the big 700 on the side. That shit just turns me off.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really bothers me about the shoe. And you know me on 700s, man. I don't have those minivan joints, but just because they're called minivan joints, I'm really out.
Yeah.
I had to pull up to high school or junior high school enough in a minivan. Had enough of that in my day.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm super out on those.
Yeah, you know what? I registered for them because I knew that I was going to take L's on the Brazils and obviously the Chunky Dunkies. So I wanted something to maybe cop. So I think that's why I registered. I think I'm going to take the registration down. It just speaks like a cooking shoe. That's what I see. I can't not see a cooking shoe or a cook shoe. And for 220, which isn't bad, a shoe, a 700 with boost, 220. I think that's pretty cool. But if I had a kid, I'd rather get like one of those little kid pairs because it's full family sizing. And I think I'd rather boost my kid. I think that'd be kind of tight if I had one. But for me, I don't know, man. We're all going to be taking a lot of L's this weekend, and this might be a shoe that you could take a W on, and maybe you should do it.
Have you seen John King in the chat? Underrated release, extra butter and kiss. I'll say it again. Do you know that shoe, Dal? You know which one he's talking about? The real nice materials?
I do. It is real nice materials, but man, it is dad shoe to the max. I think I just saw a picture of Ronnie on his socials or somebody's social of him wearing it. He had like these super short shorts, and then he has this New York ball cap. And these shoes are cool. Like the color is cool. It's like a real light navy, almost gray, and the materials look exceptional on them. And I wouldn't take anything away from that. But a New Balance, it's just too dad shoe for me. I just don't like the looks of it. You know what I mean? And I think that releases tomorrow. Am I right, John King? Tomorrow release?
I'm with you. I think the materials are great, but yeah, just not my style of shoe. Not some shit that I don't think I would. He said, I'm telling you, check him out. I haven't seen him on feet yet. Let me see the picture. Let me see if I can find the picture of Ronnie. Was that on IG?
Twitter, I think. Just go to Twitter and go to Ronnie walking New Balance. It's maybe he's just awful. I don't know, but his style was not good in it. Like if he would have had like a sick pair of jeans, like John King wears a lot of denim with his shoes, and he has a pretty good fit. Maybe Ronnie's fit just was awful. I think he had a jacket on. He had a jacket, a New York hat, short shorts, and then the New Balance shoes, and they was awful.
Ah, man. Yeah, I don't think I'd be pulling them off, John. I just don't think they're for me, bro. You know what, man? Here's the situation. I've owned some New Balances back in the day, and they actually were fresh. And I liked them. But the thing is, I could just go grab them. These collabs, the juice ain't worth the squeeze for me. That's the issue. It's going to be hard to get. And is it worth me jumping through all these hoops to have the shoe?
Especially on Kith's website. Kith's website is ridiculous, stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason, bro. It's just,
yeah.
He's neighborhood TTF. You said you wouldn't pass on easy resale. At least try. All right, neighborhood. How much is he gonna resell for? Put me up on some game here, fellas. What do they go for retail? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't pay no attention to New Balance.
Oh, so you're passing up on some resale money too?
Yeah. Broke as a joke, Dow. Passing on resale.
Look at us. We're doing our best Stringer impersonation.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
John King, they retail at 150 or you can make 150?
Nah, it's probably retail.
Because there's no way you can make 150 on those New Balances, I don't think.
He said retail.
Gotcha.
So that's yeah, man. I just for resale, okay. Rocking, really not for me.
What about that?
Yeah, I think we could close on that, Dale. I think that's good, man. I think I think we'll close on that for today. Huge shout out to everybody that came through in the chat and chopped it up. Philly, I did go back and see it. Sorry, we were already off football. He says that Mahomes' trainer, I don't know how to say the guy's name, was warning people about the NFL player, that the NFL players are dangerously out of shape. He said he normally trains 1,500 people in a summer and maybe 4 faint. But their last mobility workout, they did 7 players and 2 passed out. He said it's not hard or an advanced workout. So apparently the NFL players are out of shape. Maybe the NBA players, like you were talking about earlier, when I was saying they were Ferraris and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe everyone's just out of shape and I don't know what I'm talking about.
They're quarantined. They've been quarantined pintos.
You know me. You see my socials. I've been in the house fat in the house, and we in the house fat.
Fat. Like
it's so good. All right, Dal. Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody coming through in the chat today. Thank you guys for always adding to the conversation, making the show what it is, contributing. I'll keep you guys updated on the Barstool Sports audition tape, audition reel, casting couch, whatever you want to call it. And we'll go from there, but hopefully we get a deal, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully the real get a deal. And on that note, thanks for coming through, fellas. And we'll see you fools on Monday. Everyone have a good weekend.
Yeah.